Chapter 274. Hearing this, Luo Qingtong got up and walked out of the cave. What's the matter? She walked in front of the group of Martial King realm experts. The peak Martial King realm expert took the lead and respectfully handed a book to Luo Qingtong. This is something we found on the Yin Chi old monster. It's a special secret technique. It should have been created by that old monster. Please take a look, Master. The peak Martial King realm expert was experienced and knowledgeable. As soon as he received this secret technique, he immediately felt that it was different from others. He immediately gave it to Luo Qingtong to take a look. Qiong Qi 100 changes? Luo Qingtong took the secret technique. Seeing the 4 words written on it, she instantly raised her eyebrows. She thought of the disguise of the Yin Chi old monster. Could it be the effect of this secret technique? Luo Qingtong opened the secret technique in her hand and was immediately attracted by it. She saw that it was written on how to use one's mental power and soul power to change oneself from the inside out. From the appearance to the body to the bones, it could be flawless. Even one's aura could be replicated. However, this kind of disguise was only on the surface. Once someone suspected your identity and sent their aura into your body to investigate, you would be exposed in an instant. But even so, it was already very powerful. Even one's aura could be replicated. If it was used in an assassination, it could be completely unexpected. Luo Qingtong thought and quickly glanced at the secret technique. She quickly grasped the essentials of this transformation secret technique. After all, her pupil technique was an ability that was activated by mental power. No one knew the usage of mental power better than she did. As for soul power, she didn't lack it. With a crackling sound, Luo Qingtong's figure instantly became taller and wider. All the bones in her body were reorganized in an instant. Her appearance, temperament, and aura also underwent a great change. In just a moment, she turned into the appearance of the peak Martial King realm expert in front of her. The two stood together like twins. From top to bottom, from aura to face, there was no difference. In an instant, the group of battle slaves and martial kings looked at Luo Qingtong with horrified gazes. This Master had grasped the usage of that secret technique so quickly? Did he not need to adapt at all? No. The main point was, Master? You're also a soul cultivator? The peak martial king's voice trembled. My heavens! Mistress isn't just strong, she's also good at setting up formations and concocting medicine. Is she a soul cultivator? Could it be that what she used to kill that old freak Yin Chi was a type of soul seal ability? However, Master's strength was not that high. Even if he could use the power of the soul seal, it would not be possible for him to kill old monster Yin Chi so easily, right? As the crowd thought about this, they were both shocked and confused. It was like a cat scratching. Yes. Luo Qingtong responded in a low voice. Seeing that her appearance was slightly different from that of the expert at the peak of the Martial King realm, she immediately adjusted her temperament. Soon, there was no difference between her and the peak Martial Emperor realm expert. Very good. Luo Qingtong made those martial kings turn their backs. She took the peak Martial King realm expert and turned around. Afterwards, those martial kings who had been with this peak Martial King realm expert for a long time couldn't recognize the two of them. Luo Qingtong nodded with satisfaction. With a crackling sound, she withdrew her aura and changed back to her original appearance. Let's go. Let's go back. Luo Qingtong said and was about to leave, but she was stopped by the group of martial kings who had recovered from their shock. Chapter 275. What's the matter? Luo Qingtong turned around and looked at them. The group of Martial King realm experts raised their hands and pointed at the corpse of the Yin Chi old monster. Master, this Yin Chi old monster is on the hunting list of the Empire of Qin's sacred dynasty. Don't you want to take something from him so that you can claim the bounty in the future? Yes, Master. Although you may not be interested in the bounty, the sacred dynasties encourage this kind of hunting. In addition to the bounty, there are other rewards for those who have outstanding achievements, such as nobility, treasures, and so on. Yes. In addition, there are some special qualifications, such as bidding for the secret meeting's entrance card, which can also be obtained by claiming the reward. Master, you'd better not miss it. Oh. There's such a thing? Luo Qingtong did not expect there to be such a thing. Hunting list? What's that? Published by the Empire of Qin's Sacred Dynasty? What's the criteria? She asked with interest. It's just some evil people who are roaming around and doing evil. The government can't catch them for a while. In addition, there are some fierce beasts that appear in various places. If the local government can't deal with them, they will be reported to the Sacred Dynasty. The officials of the Sacred Dynasty will publish them on the hunting list for various cultivators to hunt. The group of martial king realm experts said. They had traveled extensively and naturally knew a lot of things. Master, this Yin-Chi old monster is ranked 56th on the hunting list. Killing him will give you merit points. In the future, when Master goes to the Empire of Qin's Sacred Dynasty, these merit points will be useful. The biggest advantage is that you don't need to be restricted by checkpoints when entering and leaving the cities. In addition, you will also enjoy certain privileges in the cities. After accumulating a certain amount of merit points, you can exchange them for a nobility title. Yes. The group of people talked at once. I see. Luo Qingtong thought. Then I'll take something. Anything will do? Yes. As long as it has the aura of the other party. The Sacred Dynasty will have a way to verify it. The peak martial king realm expert said. All right. Luo Qingtong nodded. She raised her hand, and a piece of cloth stained with old monster Yin-Chi's aura fell into her hand. She then stuffed it into the storage space of the waste product in her hand. This thing will naturally come in handy when Luo Qingtong arrives at the Holy Dynasty. Without anyone controlling them, the zombies outside all fell to the ground. Everyone casually cleaned up the battlefield and found several people on the hunting list. However, they were all small characters on the yellow list. Even if they killed them, they would not get any merit points. They would only get some rewards. Moreover, if they weren't the ones who killed those people, the Holy Dynasty would naturally have their own ways to determine that. The crowd didn't think too much about it. That old dog, his death is too easy. The crowd also discovered the corpses of many martial king realm experts. They were all captured along with them and then killed by ghastly puppet. Many people knew each other, and they immediately felt an indescribable sorrow. Luo Qingtong observed her surroundings and suddenly realized that this place was not bad in the 9 Magi Mountains. Secluded and quiet. Perhaps the people around her could use this place as a stronghold. She could also use old monster Yin-Chi's name to act as a cover. After all, the royal treasury in Luo Qingtong's storage rings should be found somewhere for the Luo family to store, right? She thought that this place was pretty good. With that thought, Luo Qingtong left a group of martial king realm experts here and let them clean up the valley for future strongholds. Chapter 276. The group of experts did not know why Luo Qingtong suddenly changed her mind. But since it was their master's order, they naturally obeyed. Immediately, the group of martial king experts stayed behind. Luo Qingtong led a group of martial marquis-level battle slaves into the city. In any case, a group of martial marquis-level experts were enough to deal with in Windgaze City. Bang! Luo Qingtong had just reached the entrance of the Luo residence when the door opened with a bang and a person was instantly sent flying out. Scram! If you dare to step into the Luo residence again, we will break your legs. An angry voice came from behind the Luo residence's door. Then, Luo Qingtong saw a group of Luo residence's iron guards rushing out. Humph! Our master and young miss pitied you and sent me to persuade you. You Luo residence's iron guards, don't be so shameless. What are you shouting about? Break my legs? I will stand here and let you hit me. Do you dare to hit me? Humph! Who doesn't know that the Luo family is about to be finished? Old Master Luo's cultivation has regressed and he is about to become a cripple. The king has already ordered to abolish his duties as the commander of the 3 armies and take back his authority to command the 3 armies. The Luo family of this generation. It is about to decline. In the future, only our master and young miss will be able to stand on top of the family. What future do you have if you follow an old man who will become a cripple at some point in time? It is better to rely on our master and young miss. In the future, there will be plenty of benefits for you. That person was thrown out of the Luo residence, but he was not afraid. He got up from the ground and looked up at the Luo residence's iron guards with a face full of arrogance. Let me tell you, if it wasn't for your strength, our master and young miss would not have bothered to give you this chance. The Luo family will soon go bankrupt. You should obediently lower your heads and follow me back to, ah. Speaking up to here, that person suddenly flew out with a bang. He slammed into the ground in a parabola and then slammed into the foot of the stone lion in front of the Luo residence's gate. In the next second, with a bang, a delicate and small boot heavily stepped on his chest, fiercely stomping the servant who was dizzy from the impact. Bang! That person fell on the stone lion and heaved a heavy sigh. Before he could get up to see who had hit him, he was ruthlessly stomped back to the ground. There was a cracking sound in his chest, and his entire sternum caved in. It was so painful that he screamed like a pig being slaughtered. Ah! Who hit me? Let me tell you, Luo family's iron guards. I was sent by Second Master and Miss Ning. Our Second Master is now a loyal and courageous duke. You hit me, are you trying to? What do you want? The voice was clear and did not carry a trace of coldness, but it made one's heart turn cold for no reason. It suddenly rang in his ears. That man's pig-like voice suddenly stopped, and his eyes widened as he looked at Luo Qingtong who was stepping on his body. Big. Before he could finish his words, the guards at the gate of the Luo clan had already reacted. They were pleasantly surprised to see the red-clothed girl in front of them. Young miss. Please come back. Young miss. The crowd was indescribably excited, but the servant who had just spoken fiercely shuddered. Young Miss Luo? Didn't they say that her foundation was damaged in the 9 Magi Mountain? Although she was lucky enough to break through to the martial master realm, she was unable to advance further and was ashamed of her inferiority to the point that she did not dare to appear in front of others. Chapter 277. The servant shuddered as he thought of this. However, he soon realized what was going on. No, why should he be afraid? If it weren't for Luo Qingtong, the Luo family wouldn't be in such a predicament. One had to know that his master and Miss Ning wanted to deal with Luo Qingtong because she had angered Tianyu's royal family by breaking off the engagement with grandfather Luo. If it was before, he might have been afraid of Luo Qingtong. After all, without strength, she still had the status of the 5th prince's wife. But now, Tianyu's royal family wanted to teach the Luo family a lesson. All the nobles of Dongli country were busy standing in the way. Even the royal family had given up on the Luo family. What was there to be afraid of? Thinking of this, he immediately raised his head. So what if she's the eldest daughter of the Luo family? The current Luo family is no better than a chicken. Let me tell you, in the future, the Luo family in Windgaze City will only be the Luo family built by our master and Miss Ning. Your Duke residence will be nothing in the future. You won't even be able to keep your Duke residence. In addition, other than the status of the 5th prince's wife, what else can you use to compare with our Miss Ning? You still don't know, right? Our Miss Ning has already broken through to the martial general realm. She's already a 4th grade martial general. Look at yourself. Humph. That servant looked at Luo Qingtong's disguised martial master strength and snorted coldly. His disdain was extremely strong. Damn it, where did this idiot come from? When they saw this scene, the group of battle slave experts that were hidden in the shadows almost gnashed their teeth to pieces. Where did this stupid dog come from? Biting people as soon as he caught them. Did he know their master's true strength? If he said it out loud, he would be scared to death. Their master had just taken in a bunch of martial king experts and killed a high-grade soul king, okay? A fourth-grade martial general dared to be arrogant in front of their master. They really wanted to rush out and torture this bastard to death. But their master said that without her orders, they were not allowed to reveal their whereabouts or make a move. How infuriating. The group of battle slave experts were furious, but Little Pig, who was in Luo Qingtong's sleeve, was delighted. Oh my God. I'm dying of laughter. Aya. Woman, you're being looked down upon. Aya. A fourth-grade martial general was so powerful. I'm so scared. Tell me, why don't I just defect and go to live with his young miss? Maybe his family's young miss is even stronger than a high-class soul king as a fourth-rank martial general. She can kill you in an instant. Little Pig was laughing so hard inside Luo Qingtong's sleeve that he fell down. It shook her sleeves and made her robe sway. Luo Qingtong's lips twitched as she listened to the voice transmission in her mind. The next second, bang! Before the servant could react, Luo Qingtong kicked him to the door of the Luo family and he knelt down. His back was bent like a shrimp, and under Luo Qingtong's kick, he couldn't even straighten his back. His eyes were wide open as he pointed in Luo Qingtong's direction. He was shocked and terrified, but he couldn't say a word. Luo Qingtong calmly walked past him. Make him kowtow 100 times as an apology for my grandfather and the Luo family. Then chop him into 8 pieces and send them to his master. Let them know the consequences of being heartless and ungrateful. Tell Luo Xining that I'll collect the debt she owes me and the Luo family. Tell her to wait for me. As Luo Qingtong spoke, she walked into the Luo family's gate like the wind. Chapter 278. Grandfather. In Old Master Luo's room, Luo Qingtong stepped into it and saw Old Master Luo lying on the bed with white hair. The latter is lying on the bed with a pale face, without a trace of blood on his face. That face looks a lot older than when Luo Qingtong left, completely without the previous hale and hearty spirit. Layers of twilight shroud his body. Especially the white hair on his temples, who knows how much more it is than before. What's going on? Luo Qingtong looks at Luo Laoi like this and rushes forward to take his pulse. Eldest Mississippi, Luo Laoi's personal guard, who followed Luo Qingtong into the room, kneels on the ground with a bang. This subordinate did not protect him well enough. The Marquis suddenly became like this 3 days ago, his cultivation is constantly dissipating, and now. The guard commander's face is full of pain, he's only left with the cultivation of a great martial general. Great martial general? That's still too little. Luo Qingtong's face is cold as she lets go of Luo Laoi's wrist. She just checked Luo Laoi's pulse with her breath, and found out that his strength has already dropped to the 6th level of a martial general. His cultivation is still declining sharply. Under Luo Qingtong's probing, Luo Laoi's meridians are constantly shrinking. Those meridians that had already been opened and were incomparably spacious would once again revert back to their original state before they were opened and opened. A martial artist's power is stored and circulated in these meridians. When these meridians return to their original state, the power derived from the opened meridians will naturally dissipate. Luo Laoi's strength is declining again and again. The speed is extremely fast, in less than 3 days, he will completely turn into an ordinary person. This is even more unbearable than crippling the Dantian. After all, after crippling the Dantian, as long as the Dantian is repaired, the power that dissipated will come back again. But for someone like Luo Laoi who was forced to disperse his cultivation, if he wants to regain his previous strength, he can only cultivate again. He had to cultivate again. How old is Luo Laoi? The strength that he cultivated for most of his life is gone in 1 day. How much time does he have to cultivate back to his original strength? And in this turbulent period of the Luo family, Luo Qingtong can imagine that the person who did this to Luo Laoi wanted to anger him to death. Humiliate him. Luo Qingtong's cold eyes look at the blood on Luo Laoi's lips. The blood has not completely dried up yet. Luo Laoi was awake before, but he was angered to vomit blood and fainted. The Luo Leoi, who else could it be? Luo Leoi's life? Now, he's old Luo's blood's SS. Luo Qingtong's eyes turned indescribably cold at the thought of that person claiming that old Master Luo would be a cripple in the future. What the hell is going on? Who did this? Of Luo everything's Luo's, miss, we haven't. The Iron Guard commander thought Luo Qingtong was asking about him. Just as he was about to answer, a series of bangs came from outside. A group of people appeared in front of the door and knelt on the ground. Master, the battle slaves who stayed behind to look after Luo Leoi broke out in cold sweat. They knelt on the ground and didn't dare to raise their heads. Chapter 279. Speak. Luo Qingtong's eyes were cold, and she had no intention of telling them to get up. What did she tell them before she left? They had to keep an eye on grandfather Luo, and not let anything happen to him. But now? Her grandfather was lying unconscious on the bed. And he had been angered to the point of vomiting blood by a bunch of clowns. Was this how they protected her grandfather? Forget about the group of martial lord realm battle slaves. They had been captured by old monster Yin Chi, so they couldn't care about Wingay's city. But what about the people left behind? Were they all dead? If that was the case, what use did she have for them? She might as well kill them one by one. Luo Qingtong was furious. If it weren't for the fact that Grandpa Luo was still unconscious in the room, she would have kicked all of them out of the room. Suppressing the anger in her heart, she had already given them a lot of face. Just as Luo Qingtong was enraged, the Luo family guard commander who wanted to answer was dumbfounded. This, a row of martial general and martial lord realm cultivators? They were kneeling in front of their young miss, and all of them were so respectful and fearful. He wasn't dreaming, was he? The commander of the Luo family's guards fiercely rubbed his eyes. The group of Luo family's guards outside the room felt it even more directly. Looking at the group of experts kneeling outside the door, they felt a shock in their hearts. It was as if their souls were about to be shaken out of their bodies. Oh my God! Is this real? Just as the group was shocked speechless, the remaining battle slaves heard the cold anger in Luo Qingtong's voice, and they immediately panicked and hurriedly kowtowed. Master, we have failed in our duty. We didn't expect the Luo family's second master to attack grandfather Luo. By the time we reacted, it was already too late. As the group spoke, they kowtowed loudly. They really didn't guard against the Luo family. But who would have thought that Luo Lauer, the son of Grandpa Luo, would actually lay his hands on Grandpa Luo? Logically speaking, he and the Luo family were bound together for good or ill. If Grandfather Luo and the Luo family were to fall, what good would it do him? But Luo Lauer did it. Moreover, it was done silently. Due to his special identity and the fact that the poison he fed old Master Luo did not take effect immediately, no one noticed it. It was only when old Master Luo began to disperse his cultivation that they realized something was wrong. They immediately went through everything and set their sights on the second old Master Luo. But there was nothing he could do now. Old Master Luo had fallen into the trap. Its second master? The Luo clan's iron guards were shocked when they heard this. They didn't have time to think about how Luo Qingtong could have so many experts by her side. It's him. No wonder he immediately set up a new sect after the Marquis fell. And he even said something about continuing the glory of the Luo family. I won't let the Luo clan's roots end in the hands of eldest miss. Bastard, it's simply abominable. The Luo clan's iron guards were furious. They were kept in the dark before and didn't know the truth of the matter. Although they were angry at Luo Lauer for adding insult to injury, they didn't think that Luo Lauer's accident was related to him. After all, Luo Lao and the Marquis were father and son. They never thought that Luo Lauer would dare to do such a disgraceful thing. Bastard, is he still human? The Marquis is their father and grandfather. How dare he use such a dirty method to destroy the Marquis and the Luo family? Chapter 280. Luo Xinming, the bloody light in Luo Qingtong's eyes was cold. How could she not know that the second elder of the Luo family was cowardly and incompetent? He had ambition but no guts. He would never have thought of such an idea. It must be Luo Xinming's idea. Of course, the royal family of Tianyu had contributed to this. Otherwise, where would they get the medicine to dissolve Elder Luo's cultivation? How could Luo Xinming and the others get the medicine to dissolve a peak martial lord's cultivation? And to dissolve the cultivation instead of destroying it was enough to prove that the other party wanted to humiliate Elder Luo even more. The feeling of helplessness while watching one's cultivation drop was enough to drive anyone crazy. The royal family of Tianyu was taking revenge on Elder Luo for breaking off the engagement. They wanted to destroy Elder Luo's cultivation, remove the influence of the Luo family, and destroy the Luo family. How could the royal family of an imperial-level superpower be so disgusting? And Luo Xinming, she was addicted to being a dog. She was willing to be called a bitch by the royal family of Tianyu. How dare they do this to grandfather and the Luo family? The bloody light in Luo Qingtong's eyes turned colder. At this moment, Elder Luo's weak voice came from the room. Qingtong. Old Master Luo opened his eyes and saw the fiery red figure sitting beside him. He thought he was seeing things. Grandfather. Seeing that Old Master Luo had woken up, Luo Qingtong hurriedly held his hand and helped him up. Cough. Qingtong, it's good that you're back. Grandfather is old and useless. I can't protect you. Elder Luo looked at Luo Qingtong with guilt. Grandfather didn't succeed in breaking off the engagement in the Tianyu Empire. Those bastards in the royal family of Tianyu insisted that the seventh princess was just playing around and wouldn't break off the engagement. They even warned us not to do too much. Grandfather was going to risk his life to prevent you from marrying into the Tianyu Empire, but, grandfather, you'll be fine. Luo Qingtong held Elder Luo's hand and said word by word. She could hear the sadness in Old Master Luo's voice, like a hero past his prime. Losing his strength this time was a huge blow to Old Master Luo. For a martial artist, a former marquis, and a commander of the three armies, what could be more unbearable than losing his strength? You don't have to comfort Grandpa. Grandpa Luo forced a smile and patted the back of her hand. I've been in the military all my life. What haven't I seen? Wasn't it just a loss of strength? He was fine. I'll just cultivate again. In the past, I was able to cultivate to the peak of the martial marquis realm. Now, I can do it again. I want those who want to laugh at me and the Luo family to see that even if I'm a cripple, I'm still the Duke Xinghua of the past. Old Master Luo's words were full of pride, but the Luo family's guards felt extremely sad when they heard it. Everyone knew that Old Master Luo was able to cultivate to the peak of the martial marquis realm because he was young and energetic. But now, he was already old, and his meridians were also aging. If he was given the same amount of time, he might not be able to cultivate back to the peak of the martial marquis realm. Moreover, the old man might not have that much time left. How many times could a person have half a lifetime? There was only one. Unless Old Master Luo's talent and physique became extremely strong, it was basically impossible for him to cultivate back to the original realm in this lifetime. Chapter 281. Luo Qingtong understood the meaning behind Grandfather Luo's words. He didn't want her to be sad because of him. But her silly grandfather, she could hide this matter for a while, but could she hide it forever? Just as Luo Qingtong was thinking about this, Old Master Luo changed the topic and said to her, So. Qingtong, you don't have to worry about me. Grandfather will definitely be able to cultivate back. But the current situation is unusual. Grandfather can't cultivate in peace if you're at home. How about this? Grandfather can see that you're doing well outside. Your martial master aura is much stronger than before. Why don't you continue to cultivate outside? Grandfather will prepare everything for you. When grandfather's cultivation returns, I'll call you back. How about it? Luo Qingtong looked at Grandfather Luo, who was looking at her with a smile, and felt a lump in her throat. Even at this time, Grandfather Luo was still thinking about her. What do you mean by continuing to cultivate outside? What do you mean by calling me back when my cultivation returns? Grandfather Luo was clearly trying to send her away so that she wouldn't find out that he couldn't cultivate back. At the same time, he wanted her to avoid this whirlpool. He wanted to shoulder the responsibility of this matter by himself. Your grandfather is really good to you. Little Pig's voice sounded in Luo Qingtong's mind. Even at this time, he still wants to arrange a way out for you. He's worried you. My grandfather is naturally the best. Luo Qingtong replied indifferently in her mind. Therefore, she also wanted to give her grandfather the best. In an instant, Luo Qingtong changed her mind. Initially, she had wanted to kill everyone who had humiliated old Master Luo. She didn't care how big of a storm this would cause. But this would definitely expose the fact that she had obtained the inheritance of the immortal sect. Everyone's eyes would be focused on her. She didn't care about herself, but what about grandfather Luo? Luo Qingtong didn't care about the entire Luo family, but she couldn't ignore grandfather Luo's thoughts and feelings. Moreover, she couldn't let grandfather Luo live the same life as her, where she had to hide everywhere and be on guard against others. Luo Qingtong suppressed the bloodthirsty thoughts in her heart when she thought of how she had attracted all kinds of covetous and murderous pursuits in her previous life due to the exposure of her ocular skills. Grandfather, I'm not leaving. Don't worry, I can still support the Luo family. With your strength, there won't be a problem. Not only will you be able to cultivate back, but you'll also be stronger than before. Luo Qingtong's words. To others, losing one's cultivation might be a calamity. But for Luo Qingtong, she could turn this disaster into a happy occasion. Back then, Luo, Luos, of Luo, and Luo of Luoses. For this reason, she specially bought a bunch of herbs to refine the condensation pill for Old Master Luo. But this time, Old Master Luo's act of dispersing his cultivation gave her another idea. Grandfather Luo was old, and his talent and meridians were already fixed. There wasn't much room for improvement in his strength. It wasn't impossible to use pills to improve his strength, but it wasn't the right way. And the improvement in strength wasn't stable. But if grandfather Luo could cultivate again, it meant that he had a chance to start over. Luo Qingtong could completely improve his aptitude and talent while he was starting from the beginning. By then, grandfather Luo's path of advancement would be wider than it was now. As for Luo Xinming. Chapter 282. Windgaze City, in another luxurious mansion. Luo Xinming strolled to the entrance and looked up at the two words, Luo Residence, hanging above the residence. She was indescribably pleased. Before this, who would have thought that the second branch of the Luo family would one day be independent and become a family that was not inferior to the marquis residence? Didn't grandfather Luo forbid her from inheriting the Luo family? Then let the Luo family die with him. So what if Luo Qingtong had the Luo family? Without the title of Marquis Zhenghua, without grandfather Luo's power. Then what was the difference between the Luo family and a dead dog? Ha! Forbid me from inheriting the Luo family? Then you can pass down the Luo family to Luo Qingtong, which is at its lowest point. I don't mind at all. Luo Xinming sneered. With such a Luo family, how could Luo Qingtong raise her head in front of her? So what if she was the future wife of the fifth prince? She had no power, was useless, and was hated by the royal family of Tianyu. What could Luo Qingtong use to compete with her in the future? Except for that face. Thinking of Luo Qingtong's beautiful face, Luo Xinming's eyes flashed with hatred and jealousy. She raised her hand to touch the veil on her face. Just then, clop clop clop. The sound of horse hooves came one after another. In a flash, a vigorous horse appeared in front of Luo Xinming and the rest. How dare you! Seeing that the horse was charging towards them, Luo Xinming's maidservant hurriedly shouted. Luo Xianming's face darkened as she gathered the power around her. Just then, whoosh! The horse suddenly reared up and came to a sudden stop in the midst of the high-speed charge. Humph! Trash like you are not worthy of being touched by the Luo family iron guard. Not even a horse. The guard riding on the horse looked at Luo Xinming with disdain. Luo Xinming's half-exposed face turned green instantly. He felt extremely carefree and laughed out loud. We are here to deliver gifts under the orders of the first miss. You people from the second branch of the Luo clan better keep it well. As he spoke, a huge red brocade box was thrown out by the Luo family guard and landed at Luo Xinming's feet. In the next second, the Luo family iron guards suddenly flew up and headed straight for the huge Luo residence plaque above the mansion. When Luo Xinming saw the huge red brocade box being thrown out, she thought it was a hidden weapon and instinctively dodged it. Just as he steadied himself, he heard a cry of surprise from behind him. Then, with a loud bang, something fell down heavily. She turned around and was so angry that blood rushed to her head. On top of the mansion, the newly built and incomparably magnificent Luo mansion plaque had been blown to pieces and smashed to the ground. Bastard! How dare you! Haha! After the Luo family's iron guard succeeded, he laughed heartily and rode away on his horse. Our young miss said that the people of the Luo family's second branch are all heartless and ungrateful. You don't deserve the surname Luo. The Luo family has been loyal for generations and we don't have descendants like you. From today onwards, the second branch of the Luo family is expelled from the Luo family and you are not allowed to call yourself a disciple of the Luo family. Every time the Luo mansion plaque hangs up, we will smash it. Also, young miss said that you owe her and the Luo family a debt. She will come and collect it. Luo Qingtong. Standing in front of the broken plaque, Luo Xinming was in a sorry state and trembled with anger. Chapter 283. Xinming, what's wrong? A group of people came out and were shocked to see the scene at the gate. Especially Madame Luo. Luo Xinming was shaking with anger when she saw the sign at the gate was smashed. She cursed with her hands on her hips. Who did this? What's this? She saw the red brocade box on the ground. The gate of the Luo manor was in a mess. The red brocade box was especially eye-catching. Madame Luo, this was sent by Miss Luo. Luo Xinming's maid said. Luo Qingtong? That little bitch, how dare she show up now? The second madam of the Luo family snorted heavily. If it weren't for her, our Luo family wouldn't have ended up like this. We still need my daughter to turn the tide. But that old man didn't appreciate it. My heart congealing has suffered. She opened the gate at such a young age. Just to leave some foundation for the Luo family. If it weren't for Xinming's potential and strength, the Luo family wouldn't have any bloodline left. Madame Luo's words were full of flattery for Luo Xinming and herself. If this was in the past, many people would agree with her. But now, they felt strange looking at the situation in front of them. Especially those maids who had been with Luo Xinming and heard the guard's words, they felt even more awkward. The guard said that you were heartless and ungrateful, and chased you out of the Luo family. You're still flattering yourselves. You don't even know if it hurts. Madame Luo didn't know about this. She looked at the red brocade box and ordered, "Open it. I want to see what that girl, Luo Qingtong, sent over." Humph. The Luo family was like a tiger without its teeth. Madame Luo wasn't afraid of Luo Qingtong at all. She already knew from Luo Xinming that Luo Qingtong had offended the royal family of Tianyu by breaking off the engagement. Princess Qi didn't like her at all. Now, Emperor and Empress of Tianyu had a great opinion of her. This time, the royal family of Tianyu wanted to vent their anger by suppressing the Luo family. Old man Luo dared to break off the engagement with the royal family of Tianyu. That was a slap to their faces. How could the Luo clan fare well then? In any case, the royal family of Tianyu only wanted to marry Luo Qingtong. As for what the Luo clan would become, they didn't care at all. Luo Qingtong, the future wife of the fifth prince, did not live up to her name. Since that was the case, what was there to be afraid of? If the Luo clan was defeated, the imperial family of Tianyu wouldn't stand up for her. That girl, Luo Qingtong, was a phoenix whose feathers had been plucked. Humph. Thinking of this, Madame Luo ordered her subordinates to open the brocade box. At this moment, Luo Xinming regained her senses. She stood aside with a cold face and did not stop Madame Luo's actions. She wanted to see what Luo Qingtong had brought her. Old Master Luo's cultivation had already dissipated. Luo Qingtong's biggest support was gone. What else could she do? Yes. A group of Luo Manor's servants answered in fear and trepidation. They stepped forward and opened the brocade box. Bang! The moment the brocade box was opened, a sour and pungent smell mixed with the strong smell of blood instantly assailed his nostrils. Ugh! The servant who was the first to open the brocade box saw what was in the brocade box. He immediately turned his head and vomited. Chapter 284. Bang! The brocade box rolled out of the servant's hand and hit the ground. A pile of minced meat rolled out of the box. There was a strong smell of blood all over the ground. A hideous head with a greenish-gray color rolled out of the box. Its eyes were wide open and looked in front of it in fear and shock. Ah 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 ah. It's Wang Wu. It's Wang Wu. Seeing the head clearly, someone immediately cried out loudly. The servant who was the first to open the brocade box scrambled away in a hurry. Wang Wu. It was Wang Wu. Wasn't he ordered by Miss to persuade the Luo family iron guards to surrender? They didn't expect him to be chopped into minced meat and sent back. The Luo family iron guards had been angered by Wang Wu. In addition, Wang Wu had angered Master Luo to the point of vomiting blood. Luo Qingtong said that he would be chopped into 8 pieces. But now, he was chopped into more than 80 pieces. If it wasn't for the head, who would recognize that it was a corpse? The group of people looked at the minced meat rolling out of the brocade box in horror. Luo Qingtong's methods were bloody and ruthless, which terrified them from the bottom of their hearts. That gentle and weak young miss seemed to be just an illusion in their memories. The group of people's teeth chattered. Luo Xinming's face was also very ugly. This scene had a huge impact on her. Luo Qingtong's methods were so cruel. What right did she have? Master Luo's strength was already crippled. The Luo family was almost completely isolated and besieged. Under such circumstances, she still dared to act so arrogantly. Did she think that her identity as the future wife of the 5th prince was still so useful that no one dared to offend her? Luo Qingtong, you are too arrogant. Luo Xinming was furious. Luo Qingtong first chased them out of the Luo family, destroyed the plaque of the Luo residence, and then gave them such a bloody gift. This was putting her face in front of everyone, slapping and stomping on it. Luo Qingtong. She gritted her teeth in anger. Then, she seemed to have realized something and hurriedly left the room. Oh. Luo Xinming went to the place where the people from Tianyu branch stayed. On the other side, Luo Qingtong, who had been paying close attention to the dissipation of old Master Luo's strength so that she could nurse him back to health at the best time, sneered and raised her eyebrows when she heard the report from the battle slaves. She reacted quickly. Not wanting to expose her strength in front of others, Luo Qingtong originally planned to send someone to do it tonight. However, he did not expect Luo Xinming to be so vigilant. She immediately went to the place where the people from Tianyu branch were staying. Tianyu branch, Luo Qingtong narrowed her eyes. Luo Qingtong wouldn't have cared if the other party was just a school of Tianyu Empire. Just like how she didn't care about the royal family of Tianyu protecting Luo Xinming. However, although the Tianyu branch was in the Tianyu Empire, it was actually a branch of the Saint Academy of the Empire of Qin. The Saint Academy of the Empire of Qin, the highest academy of the Empire of Qin, with many masters and powerful forces. Luo Qingtong was not sure that she could kill Luo Xinming without leaving any traces. For the Luo family and Luo Laozi, Luo Qingtong suppressed the bloodthirsty thought in her heart. She would let Luo Xinming live a little longer. She was relying on the strength that the royal family of Tianyu gave her. She was waiting for the enrollment of the Tianyu branch to amaze the world. At that time, she would break her hope and break her wings. Then, she would see how she could fly. A fourth-grade general, the #1 genius of the Luo family and even the Dongli country? Chapter 285. I got it. Leave her alone for now. What about the second son of the Luo family? Luo Qingtong's voice was cold. When she mentioned the second son of the Luo family, there was not the slightest bit of respect and no trace of emotion. In the entire Luo family, Luo Qingtong only cared about grandfather Luo. As for the others, if they knew their place, she didn't mind protecting them for grandfather Luo's sake. But if they didn't, Luo Qingtong's smile was cold. According to master's orders, we captured them alive. The peak-level battle slave expert said in a deep voice. Very good. Luo Qingtong turned to look at grandfather Luo, who was sleeping soundly in the room. Lock them up first. Wait for me to deal with them. Grandfather Luo had reached the critical moment of dispersing his cultivation. Luo Qingtong had to ensure that his foundation wasn't damaged. During this process, there couldn't be any mistakes. Luo Qingtong definitely wouldn't leave grandfather Luo at this time. Yes. The group of battle slaves all responded and then quickly disappeared from the Luo family's courtyard. The surrounding iron guards were already numb from watching. Their young miss was not an ordinary person. So what if a martial lord expert was obedient? The array that injured the 2 peak-level martial lord experts who came looking for trouble was set up by their young miss. They only knew about it when Luo Qingtong upgraded the array. After obtaining the treasures from the Tianyu family's treasury, Luo Qingtong's first priority was to use them for the Luo family. Not only did she upgrade the protective array outside, she also specially set up a small killing array in grandfather Luo's courtyard. When the 2 arrays are superimposed, if anyone below the martial emperor realm dared to look for trouble, they would be seriously injured even if they didn't die. She wanted them to be unable to crawl out of the Luo family. This was also to guard against the Tianyu family, to prevent them from doing anything harmful to grandfather Luo. At night, Luo Qingtong helped grandfather Luo lie down, who had just finished dispersing his cultivation and was weaker than an ordinary person. Looking at the usually strong and healthy grandfather Luo being tormented like this, although it was a blessing in disguise, Luo Qingtong's evil fire still burned vigorously in her heart. If the person who harmed grandfather Luo was someone else, it would be fine, but it had to be the second son of the Luo family. It said that crows can feed. Luo's conscience was eaten by a dog. He was cowardly and incompetent. If it wasn't for grandfather Luo, how could he live a good life? For a little bit of benefits, betrayed his own father. Give grandfather Luo. Push grandfather Luo to his death. Luo Qingtong's bloodthirsty and grandfather's is grandfather Luo. Take good care of the old man. If anything goes wrong, you don't have to see me anymore. She said coldly to the group of battle slave experts in the dark, then turned around and left the room. Come, let's go see our second master Luo, the Duke of Loyalty and Bravery. Luo Qingtong sneered and brought Little Pig out of the Luo family. In the dark and damp cave, grandfather Luo's heart was filled with indescribable fear. He didn't know why he suddenly appeared in this place. Shouldn't he be drinking in the restaurant outside? Everyone flattered him and called him the Duke of Loyalty and Bravery. Countless beauties even threw themselves at him. These days, he was as happy as a celestial being. He didn't expect to appear here in the blink of an eye. Is anyone there? He shouted hysterically, I'm telling you, I'm the Duke of Loyalty and Bravery. My daughter, Luo Xinming, is going to enter Tianyu Branch Academy soon. She is highly valued by the Tianyu royal family. Let me go, or else. Chapter 286. Who? Quick. Get them to release. Luo Qingtong. Luo family's second master looked at the fairy-like face in front of him in horror. Luo Qingtong, why is it you? Why isn't it me? Who does second uncle think it is? Luo Qingtong waved her hand and a general-level battle slave expert immediately brought a chair for her. Luo Qingtong flicked her sleeves and sat on the chair. Her 5 slender fingers calmly placed on the black gold armrest. She then raised her head and looked at Luo family's second master who was panicking. "Second uncle, why are you panicking? Isn't it good that I came to see you? Or is it that when second uncle saw me, he thought of something that made him feel guilty?" As Luo Qingtong spoke, she flicked her pale crystal fingernails. "Luo Qingtong, you, don't talk nonsense. What's there for me to feel guilty about?" Luo family's second master's face was fierce. He didn't know why, but when he saw Luo Qingtong, he felt a wave of guilt. Why would Luo Qingtong appear here? And look like she was denouncing him? Luo family's second master's face was full of fear and trepidation, but he forced himself to remain calm. He had done this very secretly. Luo Qingtong definitely wouldn't know. Not to mention her, even old Master Luo wouldn't know. Thinking of this, he raised his voice and shouted. "Luo Qingtong, I don't know where you went to collude with these people, but I advise you to quickly let me go. You probably don't know, but Xian Ning has already been selected as one of the candidates for Tianyu Branch Academy's enrollment. And once she enters, she will enjoy the treatment of a genius student." Luo family's second master regained some courage and raised his head. In the future, the Luo family will rely on Xian Ning to support it. Your cultivation, strength, and potential can't compare to Xian Ning. You will have to rely on her in the future. Don't think that you are so great just because you can marry the 5th prince and become his princess consort. There are many experts in Tianyu Empire. Without anyone to rely on, who will think highly of you? Heh, before the second master of the Luo family finished his words, Luo Qingtong burst into laughter. "So, this is the reason why you harmed the old man?" Luo Qingtong thought she would hear something else. Luo Xinning had already been selected by Tianyu Branch. Would the Luo family still need Luo Xinning to support them in the future? She was inferior to Luo Xinning in every aspect. Why would she need Luo Xinning's help in the future? Ah. So that's the reason. Luo Qingtong lost her interest in entangling with the second master of the Luo family. Such an idiot. Just because of his daughter's virginity, he could disregard his family and his father, drugging old Master Luo and forcing the Luo family to the brink of destruction. Luo Qingtong felt that talking to him was a waste of time and energy. Pa. She stood up and tossed a bottle of medicinal liquid to a battle slave expert beside her. "Second uncle, don't blame me for not giving you a chance. You crippled the old man's strength. As for me, I won't cripple your strength. Not only that, I will increase your strength." As she spoke, she ordered the battle slave expert, "Feed him this medicine." Luo Qingtong. "What are you doing?" The second master of the Luo family, who originally wanted to deny Luo Qingtong's words, heard Luo Qingtong's order to the battle slave expert and his expression changed. "If you dare to do anything to me, Xian Ning won't let you off." "Is that so? Then I will wait for her." Luo Qingtong's smile was cold. As she spoke, she released the aura around her. Chapter 287. Luo Qingtong, you, how was this possible? Luo Qingtong was actually at the Great Martial General realm? How was this possible? Didn't she just break through to the Martial Master realm after coming out of the Jiaowu mountain range? How could she reach the Martial Master realm in such a short time? Furthermore, second Master Luo rubbed his eyes and realized that Luo Qingtong's aura was extremely stable. It didn't seem like she had broken through in a hurry or with the help of medicine. Even though Luo Xinning was a rank 4 martial general, the aura around her was weak. She could only unleash 50% of the power of a rank 4 martial general. If it wasn't for the fact that she was still young, had a solid foundation, and had great potential, Tianyu Branch wouldn't have wanted such a 4th-grade martial general. However, Luo Qingtong's aura was more than 10 times stronger than Luo Xinning's. The words that the second master of the Luo family had said to praise Luo Xinning had all turned into slaps on his own face. the Luo family had to rely on Luo Xinning in the future? With Luo Qingtong's current strength, she was miles ahead of Luo Xinning. Furthermore, Luo Qingtong was only 1 or 2 years older than Luo Xinning, but her strength was at least one level higher than Luo Xinning. How could she compete with Luo Qingtong in terms of talent, potential and strength? How could Luo Xinning compete with her? It was no exaggeration to say that if both of their strengths were displayed at the same time, Luo Xinning would be like a piece of garbage on the roadside. No one would care about her. Luo Qingtong was so strong and had so much potential. Why would she need Luo Xinning to support the Luo family? People would laugh their heads off if they knew about it. Luo Xinning and the others thought that they had left the Luo family behind. However, the moment Luo Qingtong came back, the boat turned into an aircraft carrier. The Luo manor that they had built was a complete joke. You. Second Old Master Luo was so shocked that he could not speak. Luo Qingtong could not be bothered with him anymore and walked out directly. Feed him the medicine and find a group of hungry beasts. Lock her up with him. Luo Qingtong, what do you want? Ah. No. Don't come any closer. Qingtong. Second uncle was wrong. Second uncle will apologize to you. Go kowtow to the old man and admit your mistake. I was wrong. Second Master Luo first shouted fiercely. Seeing that Luo Qingtong had no intention of turning back, he suddenly cried and begged for mercy in tears. Qingtong, I beg you. Can you let me go? I'm your second uncle. We're a family. Qingtong. I must have been possessed. Just let me off this time. Luo Qingtong listens to these voices without turning her head. Her beautiful face was filled with an austere and cold aura. Qi. Now you know you were wrong. Where did he go? Second uncle? Other than Old Master Luo, she had no other relatives. Moreover, she didn't have any relatives who could harm her father so casually. If it wasn't for the fact that he had fallen into his hands, if it wasn't for the fact that he could only be slaughtered by him, would he admit his mistake? Wasn't he quite arrogant just now? She wouldn't let go of anyone who dared to harm Old Master Luo and the Luo family. The medicine that Second Master Luo drank was specially made by her. If he didn't use his power, nothing would happen. However, once he used his power, he would be one step closer to exploding. Lock him up with those hungry beasts. How he dies is up to him. If he used his power, he would explode. If he didn't use his power, he would be eaten alive by those hungry beasts. Chapter 288. Mistress. A powerful battle slave knelt in front of Luo Qingtong. Luo Xinning has returned to the Luo residence. Oh. Luo Qingtong's voice was faint as she raised her head casually. Little Pig jumped from her shoulder into her arms. Luo Qingtong's voice was cold as she stroked its light fur. She dares to return at this time. She must have something to rely on, right? Just a moment ago, he ran to the Tianyu Branch Academy's residence like a stray dog. Now, he dared to come back. Luo Qingtong sneered in her heart. She had learned from the guards of the Luo family that Luo Xian Ning had brought 2 powerful cultivators from the royal family of Tianyu to the Luo family. She wanted to force grandfather Luo to abdicate his position and become the successor of the Luo family. However, she was injured by her own array and escaped like a dog. It was probably then that she found out that the Luo family was secretly protected by someone and wanted to destroy it. She changed her mind and attacked the Luo family. If not, why did she run to the Tianyu branch's place in fear when she sent someone to send a gift? If Luo Xinning was as timid as a mouse, she would have no interest in dealing with her. Yes. Mistress is very observant. Luo Xinning is a disciple of a teacher from the Tianyu branch who came to recruit students. She has already been accepted as his last disciple. She will be accompanied by someone from the Tianyu branch. The battle slave paused and said to Luo Qingtong, that teacher has a bad impression of mistress because of Luo Xinning's words. This time, he called Luo Xinning back. Obviously, he wants to back her up. Back her up? Luo Qingtong's lips curled up, cold and enchanting. I'm afraid he can't back her up. However, Luo Xinming was quite capable. Luo Qingtong did not believe what the battle slave said. It was that teacher who insisted on calling Luo Xinming back. I'm afraid that woman is up to something again, right? TSK. She was so pitiful that she was bullied by her elder sister. Naturally, she was lovable. She was also a good seedling with good talent and strength. Naturally, there would be people who would jump out to be her tool. However, did Luo Xinming think that she could rest easy? Luo Qingtong gently stroked little pig's fur and gently tapped its little head. Go. Let's go back to the Luo family and give Luo Xinming a big present. Did she think that he wouldn't be able to do anything to her just because she had the protection of the people from Tianyu branch? Luo Qingtong's smile was enchanting. Luo Xinming had underestimated her. If she wanted to deal with someone, even if the Heavenly Emperor was protecting her, she would still make the other party suffer. However, Luo Xinming was not worth it for her to expose her power. She would collect some interest first. Give me a list of all the things that the royal family of Tianyu, the aristocratic families, and the royal family of Dongli have given me over the years. After returning to the Luo Jia, Luo Qingtong called the steward in charge of the treasury and ordered him. Yes. Although the steward was surprised that Luo Qingtong suddenly thought of asking for these things, he still went to organize them. This steward was an old man by Luo Qingtong's side. He was absolutely loyal. His descendants were all in the Luo family Iron Guards. Otherwise, he would not have been sent to manage Luo Qingtong's things. After a while, all the books were sent over. Luo Qingtong randomly picked up a book. She opened it and saw the names of the people from the second branch of the Luo family. She immediately smiled. Pick a team of Luo family Iron Guards and follow me to the Luo residence. Chapter 289. In the Luo mansion, Luo Xinming was serving an old man respectfully. He was the teacher from the Tianyu branch school who came to recruit students. His surname was Chu, and he was known as Elder Chu. He was known to be overprotective and domineering in the Tianyu branch school. There were 3 other teachers who came with him to recruit students. He was the only soul master among them. He had just become a soul king, and his cultivation was not as good as the other 2 superior martial kings. However, he had a bad temper. Soul masters were highly valued in the various countries under the Holy Dynasty. Naturally, they were arrogant. Elder Chu was no exception. This time, he wanted Luo Xinming as his disciple. After hearing about her relationship with the Luo family, he immediately said that he would help her and bring her back to the Luo mansion. Teacher, is this okay? Looking at Chu Lao instructing his servant to help her reinstall the plaque of the Luo mansion, Luo Xinming felt complacent. However, on the surface, she looked anxious. The Luo family. My elder sister. Teacher, seeing that she was like a frightened bird, Elder Chu felt pity for her. At the same time, he was also angry. Humph. You don't have to care about them. Teacher is here today. No matter who is supporting the Luo family, I will fight back. Don't worry about me. They are just a small Luo family. They can't do anything to me. So what if she is the future wife of the 5th prince? She really thinks that others are afraid of her identity and don't dare to stand up for her. Old Chu sneered at this point. You don't have to worry about this. Just sit here peacefully. Teacher will support you in everything. You can hang this plaque of the Luo manor for as long as you want. Not only will I hang it up for you, I will hang it up high. As for the Luo family, he said with a murderous look, I want to see who dares to make trouble for you. Even if it is your elder sister, I will make her kneel down and apologize to you. Elder Chu said resolutely. With Luo Qingtong's identity, he could not force her to apologize to Luo Xinming. After all, she was the future wife of the 5th prince. Even if she was not favored, it would be a slap to the face of the Tianyu royal family. No matter how much Mr. Chu tried to protect Luo Xinming, it was impossible for him to be so stupid. However, it would be different if Luo Qingtong came looking for trouble while he was here. At that time, even if he beat Luo Qingtong until she vomited blood and knelt on the ground, he could still say, "I had no choice, I didn't mean to do it." He wanted to see if the Luo clan was really that bold. How dare they come looking for trouble when he was around? If they dared to come, he would definitely avenge his good disciple. Luo Xinming was very obedient in front of Elder Chu and flattered him. Mr. Chu also liked to hear these words. Most importantly, Luo Xinming was very good at talking. You would not feel disgusted when you were praised. Instead, you would feel that she was not bad. Chu Lao was very comfortable with the flattery. In addition, Luo Xianming was not weak and she was related to the royal family of Tianyu. Chu Lao took her in as his last disciple. As for the fact that Luo Xinming's strength was forcefully raised, he did not care. Luo Xinming was still young and her cultivation was not high. With a good foundation, this little bit of improvement would not be a problem. But, my elder sister is my elder sister. She can be heartless, but I can't be. Luo Xinming bit her lips and said softly, as if she had been wronged. She knew that the more she acted like this, the angrier Mr. Chu would be. When the Luo clan came looking for trouble. Chapter 290. Chop it into pieces. Outside the Luo residence, Luo Qingtong was riding on a red horse. Her empty eyes were fixed on the Luo residence's signboard that had been blasted to pieces. She was stroking little pig in her arms. That pair of eyes, even though they couldn't see, gave off an extremely sharp feeling. The servants of the Luo residence who had been blasted to the ground couldn't help but shiver when they saw Luo Qingtong's empty eyes. Seeing that the Luo residence's guards were about to chop the signboard into pieces, they hurriedly cried out in alarm. No! Eldest young miss. This signboard was gifted to our young miss by an instructor from Tianyu branch. You can't chop it. They thought that Luo Qingtong would have some misgivings. After all, the Tianyu branch's instructors were in charge of recruiting students. Perhaps Luo Qingtong didn't have to be afraid before, but now that she didn't have a recommendation letter from the Tianyu branch, she didn't have a spot. If the Tianyu branch's instructors said that she didn't meet the requirements, wouldn't she be unable to go to the Tianyu branch? They thought that Luo Qingtong wouldn't dare to make a move after hearing this. However, they heard Luo Qingtong chuckle softly. So what if they're Tianyu branch's instructors? I chopped this signboard because the Luo residence's second branch is no longer fit to be a descendant of the Luo residence. Naturally, they can't hang this signboard. This logic is the same even if you say it to the ends of the earth. Can the Tianyu branch's instructors be so unreasonable as to interfere in our Luo residence's business? Then I'll wait for him. Let's see if he can afford to interfere. As she spoke, she suddenly raised her hand. Chop. This word was concise and carried an extremely domineering aura. Following her command, a few of the Luo family's iron guards instantly drew their swords and fiercely chopped down at the Luo residence signboard on the ground. Crackle. The signboard was instantly split into two. How dare you! The servant who followed Elder Chu's order to help Luo Xinming put up the plaque had just left when he heard the explosion behind him. He turned around and was furious. The signboard that they had just hung up was actually smashed to the ground. Not only that, it was also hacked into countless pieces. Miss Luo. You guys are too arrogant. The group of attendants looked angrily at Luo Qingtong and the others, but they were wary of her identity as the future wife of the fifth prince, so they didn't dare to act rashly. Arrogant? Luo Qingtong sat upright on the saddle and looked indifferently at the group of attendants wearing the uniform of Tianyu Academy. I'm teaching a lesson to a member of the Luo clan who has been expelled from the Luo clan. I'm not letting them continue to exist in this world as members of the Luo clan. Is this what you call arrogance? No, this is called cleaning up the house. Luo Qingtong's words made everyone speechless. Before they could think of a way to refute, even Luo Qingtong suddenly waved the horsewhip in her hand. However, the second branch of the Luo clan has been hanging up our Luo residence's signboard one after another. They didn't even give up after it was smashed once. I'm thinking, are they so poor that they can't even make a new signboard? In that case, as their sister and niece, I naturally have to express my gratitude. As Luo Qingtong spoke, she raised her hand and knocked on her saddle. Come, bring up the new signboard I made for them. As she spoke, the Luo clan's guards behind her suddenly flashed out a path. Chapter 291. The dazzling color of the plaque made everyone's heart beat like a drum. One look and one could tell that this plaque cost a lot of money. Why was Miss Luo so generous? This didn't seem like her usual style of doing things. She was either smashing or hacking. Why was she so kind as to send a good plaque to the Luo manor? The more they thought about it, the more confused they became. However, when they saw the words on the signboard, they were unable to contain themselves and burst into laughter. 2 large words were inlaid on the glittering golden plaque, Go Manor. The 2 words didn't mean much, but when they thought about Luo Qingtong's previous actions, they understood why she sent a plaque. Wasn't she calling the second branch of the Luo family dogs? Luo Qingtong, you've gone too far. Luo Xinming walked out of the Luo manor. When she saw the plaque sent by Luo Qingtong, she was so angry that she trembled. She didn't expect Luo Qingtong to be so arrogant when she knew that she was protected by a tutor from Tianyu branch. And, Go Manor? What kind of plaque was this? We don't have anyone with the surname Go. We don't care about your plaque. Oh. No one with the surname Go? Did I remember wrong? That's impossible. Luo Qingtong sat on the red horse and pondered seriously. Then, she clapped her hands in realization. That's not right. Isn't your mother Go? Ah, no, it's Sun. Look at my memory. Luo Qingtong looked at Luo Xinming with a smile. But what your family did makes me feel like they're dogs. It can't be helped that I've made a mistake. You'll have to bear with it. Besides, since this plaque has already been made and cost me a lot of money, you should just use it. Don't try to get involved with the Luo family again. What's more, I think this plaque suits you. Luo Qingtong said meaningfully. Luo Qingtong. Luo Xinming was infuriated. This Luo Qingtong, how dare she? How dare they humiliate him in front of so many people? Who are you calling a dog? Luo Qingtong, you and I are sisters. Cousins. Luo Qingtong kindly reminded her. I'm the only one left of the Luo family's direct bloodline. In addition, your bloodline has been expelled from the clan. Go, oh, no, Sun Xinming, I'm not worthy of being your sister. Luo Qingtong said, glancing at the old man who appeared at the gate. A teacher from the Tianyu Branch Academy? Luo Qingtong pretended not to see it. Who asked her to be blind now? And it was Luo Xinming who did it. Put up the plaque for them. Luo Qingtong waved her hand. Luo Qingtong. Luo Xianming was about to faint from anger. Luo Qingtong was too arrogant. Too much. Was this still the Luo Qingtong she knew? Even when Luo Qingtong came back from the 9 Magi Mountain, she was not this arrogant. It was as if she didn't care about anything. How did she change so much? Luo Xinming didn't know that Luo Qingtong had always been this arrogant. She didn't show it before because she didn't care about Luo Xinming at all. But now, they touched Grandpa Luo and touched Luo Qingtong's reverse scale. It would be strange if she didn't kill them. Chapter 292. What's wrong? Are you so happy that you can't accept my gift? Don't worry, I have an even bigger gift to give you. The smile on Luo Qingtong's lips was evil. She was as beautiful as a flower, but in the eyes of others, she made them feel cold. Luo Xinming looked at her and felt a chill in her heart. She grabbed her sleeves tightly. When she saw Elder Chu walking out, she calmed down. Luo Qingtong can be arrogant. The more arrogant she is, the better. She'll have a good time later. Luo Xinming thought and calmed down. She took a deep breath and looked at Luo Qingtong. Elder sister, this is the last time I call you elder sister. You don't have to admit that I am from the Luo family, but I will not give up. Grandfather has lost his cultivation and the Luo family is in a precarious situation. You can't support the Luo family. Luo Xinming said and raised her face, which was covered by the veil. Her eyes were full of pride. I am now a grade 4 martial general and am valued by the Tianyu royal family and Elder Chu. I will be able to support the Luo family in the future. Big sister, I know you're very upset about my achievements. But you can't joke about the future of the Luo family. Yes. My father and I left the Luo family and started our own family. But I am thinking for the Luo family. I can't write the word Luo. I want to be independent so that the Luo family can have a better future. No matter how you humiliate me, I will not change my mind. I will continue the glory of the Luo family. Nothing you can do can change that. Bah! Before Luo Xinming could finish her words, the guards of the Luo family spat at her fiercely. Luo Xian Ning was too shameless to say that. If they didn't know the truth of the matter, they would have been deceived by their sanctimonious appearance of being considered of the Luo clan. The second son of the Luo family was really good at putting on a show. They drugged the marquis and now they are trying to establish themselves as the savior of the Luo family. Where's your face? Luo Qingtong's face also turned cold. It wasn't that Luo Qingtong's words were too disgusting, but Luo Qingtong's words had deliberately revealed the fact that Luo Qingtong's cultivation had dissipated. Right now, the outside world still didn't know that old Master Luo had lost his cultivation. Even if they knew that the Luo family was being suppressed by the other aristocratic families and the royal family, they wouldn't have any special thoughts about it. However, Luo Xinming had exposed the fact that Master Luo had dissipated his cultivation. That was what she wanted. From an outsider's point of view, the Luo family was completely dependent on old Master Luo. Now that Master Luo had lost his cultivation, Luo Xinming, a promising second wife, had established her own mansion, and Luo Qingtong, the future wife of the fifth prince, was disliked by the royal family of Tianyu because of the annulment of the engagement. Wouldn't those with ulterior motives be tempted? Luo Xinming's words were equivalent to pushing grandfather Luo and the entire Luo family into a dead end. Luo Xinming, well done. The bloody light in Luo Qingtong's eyes was piercingly cold. Through her eyes, she memorized the faces of everyone present. She knew clearly who had ulterior motives and who had ulterior motives towards the Luo family. Luo Xinming wanted to use these people to deal with the Luo family. She was waiting for these people to come and see who could touch the Luo family. As for Luo Xinming, Luo Qingtong sneered. The Luo family? Before you say these big words, you'd better return the things that I took from you. Use my things to improve your power, establish yourself and support the Luo family. You're quite shameless. Chapter 293. Bang! The pile of account books fell to the ground with a deafening sound. What are these? Luo Xinming looked at the books on the ground and had a bad premonition. What was Luo Qingtong talking about? What were these account books? Of course they are the things that you have taken from me. They are all recorded here. All these years, how many things have your Luo clan's second branch taken from me? And where did you get your strength from? That way, people will know how ungrateful your family is. With my Tilo family? You don't deserve it. As Luo Qingtong spoke, she lazily pointed at the pile of account books and said to the Luo family guard beside her, "Read it." Yes. The Luo family's iron guard answered and stepped forward to pick up an account book and read it out loud. Year, month, day, what items were sent by the Tianyu imperial family? How much did the second branch of the Luo family take away? Year, month, day, various treasures were sent by the aristocratic families and the imperial family, And how much did the second branch of the Luo family take away? Luo Xinning took away a large amount of resources, medicinal herbs, elixirs, jewelry, and spiritual weapons. There were also all kinds of calligraphy and paintings taken by the second master of the Luo family, as well as jewelry and decorations taken by the second madam of the Luo family. Everyone was shocked when they heard this. Why did they feel that Luo Qingtong's things were all taken away by the second branch of the Luo family? There were even some precious items that they were not allowed to take away. Why did they ask for them again and again? Until they were taken away? When everyone heard what the Luo clan's guard was saying, they couldn't believe what they were hearing. Wasn't the second branch of the Luo family too shameless? Oh my God! The Tian Shan snow lotuses were taken away in bundles. Did the second branch of the Luo family think that they are cabbages? Yes. And the golden silk brocade. Those are tributes from the imperial family. The second branch of the Luo family took them all. Everyone murmured in their hearts. Originally, they were quite touched by what Luo Xinning said. They felt that Luo Qingtong was too much. But now, when these account books were thrown out, a subtle change occurred in everyone's hearts. To be honest, the things that were read out here were things that even the direct descendant of a clan might not be able to produce. Obviously, Luo Xianning's power was mostly due to this resource. Thinking about it this way, it was not that Luo Qingtong's strength and potential were not good. It was because she had provided all of it to Luo Xinning that her strength was not good previously. Furthermore, Luo Xinning's strength had only increased recently. In other words, even though she had enjoyed a large amount of resources in the Luo family, she was still not as good as Luo Qingtong. What right did she have to say that Luo Qingtong was jealous of her? If that was the case, Luo Qingtong would not give her those resources. And according to the things taken by the second branch of the Luo family, which of them were not the treasures given to Luo Qingtong by the major aristocratic families and the royal family? It could be seen that Luo Qingtong really treated them as her family. But what about the things they were doing now? No matter how dignified Luo Xinning's words were, the fact that she left the Luo family when the Luo family was in trouble, especially after taking so many things from Luo Qingtong, made everyone feel that their reason was not valid. In this way, the righteous words that Luo Xinning had just said were completely discounted. It was obvious that after taking all the benefits from the Luo family and Luo Qingtong, she set up her own family and drew a clear line between herself and the Luo family. She actually had the nerve to put gold on her own face. What did she mean by establishing a family and supporting the Luo family? As everyone thought about it, they looked at Luo Xinning with disdain and weirdness. Chapter 294. Luo Qingtong, you. Luo Xinning's face turned red. She did not expect that Luo Qingtong would do such a thing. She actually recorded all the things that she had bought from Luo Qingtong. This woman had been guarding against her since a long time ago. Was all her stupidity and cowardice in the past just a show for her? In fact, Luo Xinning was wrong. Most of the things that Luo Qingtong had were gifts from others. Since they were gifts, there should be a list. The elders of the Luo family were loyal to Old Master Luo and Luo Qingtong. If Luo Qingtong did not worry about it, someone would worry about it for her. That was how the account books were kept. In the past, Luo Qingtong did not take it seriously and did not think of telling Luo Xinning about it. Now that Luo Qingtong had taken over this body, she naturally knew about these things. She would not let Luo Xinning get away with it so easily. Biting the hand that feeds him? Ungrateful? She wanted Luo Xinning to spit out all the things that she had eaten before. All these things are recorded in the account books. You can deny it, but since these things are gifts, the person who gave them must have kept a record of them. Luo Qingtong's words blocked Luo Xinning's way of denying it. She was not the only one who had these things. She could easily find out the origin of any one of the things in the Luo residence. Luo Xinning listened and gritted her teeth, but there was nothing she could do. She thought for a while and could only give up the idea of making a false accusation. Before she could think of a way to deal with it, Luo Qingtong's voice was heard again. As the saying goes, it is only right to repay one's debts. My things can be used by the Luo family. But since you have been expelled from the Luo family and established your own family, then return all these things. My things are not for traitors and ungrateful people to use. Luo Qingtong, don't go too far. Luo Xinming was forced by Luo Qingtong's words and had no other choice. Luo Qingtong's actions were all on the right side. Those things were given to them by Luo Qingtong in the past. If there was no account book, they could say whatever they wanted. But now the account book was there. If Luo Qingtong wanted to take back her previous things, she could do it. After all, although those items were Luo Qingtong's personal belongings, they were still considered Luo family's belongings after entering the Luo family's treasury. I went too far? Luo Qingtong laughed at Luo Xinming's words. So, I asked you to empty out the Luo family, and then come back and say that saving the Luo family is the right thing to do? Luo Qingtong sneered at Luo Xinming's speechless face and raised her right hand. If you don't want to return it, I can help you. All Luo family guards, if the Go family is unwilling to return the Luo family's resources, then we can only take them ourselves. Everyone, charge into the Go family. Empty everything inside. Luo Qingtong wasn't here to argue with Luo Xinming. She was here to embarrass Luo Xinming. Unwilling to return it? Fine. She would smash the Go family and empty everything. Luo Qingtong, don't you dare. Luo Xinming screamed when she saw the Luo family guards charging at them. Chapter 295. Enough. A voice was heard. Chu Lao could not stand it anymore. He had been waiting for Luo Qingtong to find fault with him, but after the latter appeared, he realized that Luo Qingtong's every word was related to family matters. It was not appropriate for him to intervene. This was totally different from what he had imagined. He thought that Luo Qingtong's appearance was to target Luo Xinming and bully her poor disciple. But at the end of the day, he realized that Luo Qingtong did bully Luo Xinming, but not in the way he thought. Luo Qingtong's actions were all based on logic. Even if he wanted to stand up for Luo Xinming, he could not do anything about it. Of course, if the person standing here was not Luo Qingtong but someone else, even if he had reason, he had plenty of ways to bully others. However, Luo Qingtong was different. After all, this person was the future wife of the fifth prince. As long as she was not being unreasonable, he could not deal with her openly. Thinking of this, Chu Lao looked at Luo Qingtong with a sullen face and said, Miss Luo, enough is enough. No matter what, Xinming is your sister. You have gone too far. Chu Lao thought that Luo Qingtong would not go too far with his words. However, Luo Qingtong looked at him blankly and asked calmly, Who do you think you are? How dare you talk to me like this? I am dealing with my family affairs. What does it have to do with you? When Elder Chu heard this, he was so angry that he almost vomited blood. Who did he think he was? Luo Qingtong dared to talk to him like this? Arrogant, she was too arrogant. She was 100 times more arrogant than what Luo Xinming had said. Chu Lao was trembling with anger. At this moment, Luo Xinming seized the opportunity and shouted, Luo Qingtong, don't go too far. You can pick on me, but don't insult my teacher. This is Elder Chu from the Tianyu Branch Academy. As she spoke, she raised her head arrogantly, waiting for the moment when Luo Qingtong would panic. Luo Qingtong would definitely regret it if she dared to insult the mentors of Tianyu Branch. However, she was wrong. After hearing her words, Luo Qingtong revealed a look of realization. She then played with the horsewhip in her hand carelessly and said, So it's Elder Chu from Tianyu Branch. Then he's no good. I'm really sorry, Elder Chu. My eyes are blind, so I don't really recognize people. You suddenly spoke without telling me your name, so of course I don't know who you are. But now I know. Please forgive me, Elder Chu. After all, ignorance is blameless. As soon as Luo Qingtong's words came out, the expressions of the surrounding people instantly became extremely strange. Were they overthinking things? Why did it feel like Luo Qingtong kept saying, not a thing, and then, what thing? She was obviously insulting Elder Chu. But if he had to say that there was something wrong with what she said, he couldn't find anything. Did she have to say that Elder Chu was a thing? That would be insulting, alright? Furthermore, Luo Qingtong said that she was blind and couldn't recognize people. Everyone looked at her eyes and then realized that the eldest daughter of the Luo family was blind. Since that was the case, they couldn't accuse her of insulting Elder Chu. Almost everyone in Wingay's city knew that Luo Qingtong's eyes were blinded in the Nine Magi Mountain. It was just that her actions just now were too clean, so everyone forgot about this matter for a moment. Chapter 296. Everyone looked weird, and Mr. Chu was also very angry. He had always been arrogant. Even in the Tianyu Empire, he was flattered, not to mention in a small country like Dongli country. However, Luo Qingtong insulted him in public. Suddenly, he felt a mouthful of blood stuck in his throat. You! He raised his finger and pointed at Luo Qingtong. He trembled and couldn't say a word for a long time. What should he say? Luo Qingtong was blind. She couldn't see him. She didn't know him. She scolded him in vain. Could he find trouble with Luo Qingtong because of this? Even if he did, it would be unreasonable. Why didn't he tell her his name? However, Mr. Chu was used to doing whatever he wanted. Not to mention in a small country like Dongli country, even in the Tianyu Empire, who didn't flatter him respectfully. Since when did he need to tell her his name? The anger in his heart was so stifling that he almost fainted. Good. It took Mr. Chu a long time to calm down. Luo Xinning kept stroking his back and gently persuading him not to go against Luo Qingtong. This was between her and Luo Qingtong. The more she said, the more aggrieved and angry Mr. Chu was. It was he who said that he would stand up for Luo Xinning. How could he not do anything now? Xinning, you don't need to persuade me. I'll take care of this. Mr. Chu waved his hand and stopped Luo Xinning. He looked maliciously in Luo Qingtong's direction. You didn't know my name before. Now you know it, right? Luo Qingtong, Xinning is my apprentice. Her business is my business. Before Chu Lao could say anything harsh, he heard Luo Qingtong clap her hands and exclaim, good. Mr. Chu is really domineering. As expected of an instructor from Tianyu Academy who came to recruit students. Not only is he rich, he also dotes on his disciples. Luo Qingtong's flattery stunned old Master Chu and made him swallow the rest of his words. What was wrong with this Luo Qingtong? He had supported Luo Xianning, and she was cheering for him. Mr. Chu was confused. He didn't know what Luo Qingtong was up to. But soon, he found out. Elder Chu is an honorable man. Sun Xinning, you have a good teacher. I've only just accepted you as my last disciple, and I'm already willing to help you repay your debt. In that case, I won't make things difficult for you. I'll leave these account books here. Hand over the money, and we'll be even. Naturally, I won't enter the Go mansion. Don't say that I'm deliberately causing trouble for you. Luo Qingtong said as she leaned against the saddle. She supported her chin with one hand and flicked the whip in her hand with the other. I'm very reasonable, aren't I? Mr. Chu was stunned by the sudden turn of events. When did he say that he would help Luo Xianning repay her debt? He clearly wanted to say that as long as he was around, Luo Qingtong and the others wouldn't be able to take a single step into the Luo mansion. But when he thought about it carefully, his words did have that meaning. That sentence, her business is my business, if interpreted as repayment of a debt, there was nothing wrong with it. Mr. Chu froze at the thought of this. In front of so many people, Luo Qingtong had praised him so highly. He really couldn't bring himself to say that he didn't mean that. He could only grit his teeth and straighten his neck. Okay, tell me how much you want to repay. Chapter 297. Teacher. The moment Mr. Chu opened his mouth, Luo Xinning felt something was wrong. She wanted to stop him, but it was too late. Mr. Chu is indeed extraordinary. You are so generous. So domineering. Sitting on the horse, Luo Qingtong gave old Chu a thumbs up with a lazy and evil look. As for the debt, it's not much. About 4 or 5 national treasuries of Dongli country are enough. Plop. Before Luo Qingtong finished her words, Mr. Chu, who was standing in front of the gate of the Luo mansion, was about to pay off the debt and let Luo Qingtong and the others go back, lost his balance and almost fell down the stairs. How much did you say? He looked at Luo Qingtong in disbelief. 4 or 5 national treasuries of Dongli country? Why don't you rob? Mr. Chu couldn't accept it and roared. 4 or 5 national treasuries of Dongli country. Did she think they were cabbages on the side of the road? Although Dongli country was only a small inferior country, its national treasuries were equal to all the treasures of an aristocratic family of a superior country. What was more, Luo Qingtong asked for 4 or 5 national treasuries. Even if Mr. Chu had some assets in the Tianyu Empire, he was not generous enough to take out 4 or 5 national treasuries of Dongli country. What was more, whether it was a soul cultivator or a warrior, it cost a lot of money to cultivate. Mr. Chu had a lot of money, but he also spent a lot of money. How could he spend so much money for a new disciple like Luo Xinning? He was not stupid. You're simply asking for too much. His face turned red as he said. He said he would pay for Luo Xinning, but now he couldn't. This shameful behavior made Mr. Chu feel ashamed and angry. He looked at Luo Qingtong as if he wanted to eat her. He had never been so humiliated. Asking for too much? Luo Qingtong sneered. She casually picked up an account book from the ground, flipped to a page and threw it at Elder Chu. Look carefully. These are all things that Luo Xinning took away from me. Most of them were sent to me by Tianyu's royal family after the engagement. Luo Qingtong raised the horsewhip in her hand and tapped on the saddle. She looked down at Elder Chu, Luo Xinning, and the others in front of the Luo mansion. As the future 5th prince's wife, which one of the gifts from Tianyu's royal family isn't the best? Any one of them is enough to match the foundation of an aristocratic family in the eastern border country. Do you dare to say that these things are worth less than the eastern border country's national treasury? Were people from Tianyu's royal family that poor? Even the most promising and most talented 5th prince's future princess consort's things are chosen to be trash. Or do you think Dongli's treasury is richer than Tianyu's imperial treasury? 4 or 5 times the value of Dongli state's national treasury is still too little. I didn't even count the gifts from the other aristocratic families and the eastern border country's royal family. How dare you say I'm asking for too much with such sincerity? At this point, Luo Qingtong sneered. So what if she was asking for too much? Did Luo Xinning and the others dare to say no? Did they dare to say that the gifts from Tianyu's royal family were not worth that much? Luo Qingtong didn't like Tianyu's royal family at all. But since they refused to break off the engagement, they shouldn't blame her for using their name. Chapter 298. You. Luo Qingtong's words left Elder Chu gasping for breath. He pointed a trembling finger at Luo Qingtong, but he couldn't refute her. What could he say? That the gifts from the royal family of Tianyu weren't worth that much? He was an early-stage soul king, not a soul king. Even if he was an early-stage soul king, the royal family of Tianyu would still be able to kill him. How could Elder Chu say something like that in front of so many people? But if he didn't say anything, he couldn't refute Luo Qingtong's words. He could only agree to Luo Qingtong's price. 4 or 5 times as much money as the Eastern Fence Kingdom's treasury. He couldn't take out that much money. Elder Chu couldn't back down now. Luo Qingtong had tricked him. He looked at Luo Qingtong and was so angry that his eyes were red and swollen like blood. He was furious, but he could not find a single word to refute Luo Qingtong. Luo Qingtong's words of the royal family of Tianyu were enough to kill him. Even if the royal family of Tianyu were here, they wouldn't be able to slap their own faces and say that their gifts weren't worth that much money. It seems Elder Chu can't take out that much money. Luo Qingtong looked indifferently at Elder Chu, who was so angry that his face turned purple and then green. She raised her eyebrows and said, "If so, why are you boasting? You've made me happy for nothing. But since you can't take out the money, Elder Chu, please stand aside and watch the show. You see, I've already given you a chance to repay your debt, but you can't. I have no choice but to smash this place. After all." Luo Qingtong's lips curled into an evil smile as she said word by word, "The things that the royal family of Tianyu gave me are considered as my dowry in the future. No matter what, I can't let it fall into the hands of an outsider. Don't you think so? Or does Sun Ximing want to marry in my place? Ha, that's exactly what I want. I wonder if the royal family of Tianyu is willing?" Luo Qingtong's words were a death sentence. That's right. Forget about the gifts from the aristocratic families. This gift from the royal family of Tianyu must be brought back to the Tianyu Empire as dowry. Miss Luo is right to ask for these things back. Indeed. No matter how rich Tianyu's royal family is, the future fifth prince's wife would have to make herself look good. These things would definitely be taken back in the future. There's nothing wrong with the eldest daughter of the Luo family taking it back. Speaking of which, Luo Ximing's family is really shameless. It's fine that they took other things, but why didn't they let go of the treasures given to Luo Qingtong by the royal family of Tianyu? Now you've been slapped in the face. Pfft, you guys don't know. It's said that the Luo family's eldest daughter treated her very well in the past. I'm afraid she took these things as her own. It can't be. How shameless. Exactly. The Luo family's eldest daughter was also careless in the past. If it were me, I would have told them to get lost. She even bragged that she was more powerful than the Luo family's eldest daughter. She actually dared to say such shameless words. Exactly. And the tutor of Tianyu Branch School is here to support her. She must be lying on the ground now. A group of people whispered. Elder Chu and Luo Ximing heard it and were both anxious and angry. Especially Elder Chu. He wanted to support Luo Ximing, but he lost all his face. If it were someone else, he would have taken action regardless of the consequences. But now, Luo Qingtong said she was here to take back the dowry given by the royal family of Tianyu. Could he stop her? Could he? Chapter 299. Luo Qingtong looked at their livid faces and raised her hand lazily. Guards. Smash it. Don't miss a single thing inside. Whoever dares to stop me will be going against the royal family of Tianyu. Luo Qingtong did not mind slapping Luo Ximing in the face with the name of the royal family of Tianyu. Especially since Luo Ximing claimed that she was valued by the royal family of Tianyu. Then she would use the name she valued to slap her in the face. Tutor of Tianyu Branch School? Luo Qingtong sneered at Elder Chu, who was standing beside Luo Ximing. Was he waiting for her to come and slap her in the face? Unfortunately, she would not give him the chance to do so. She did not need to use her power and strength. She had her ways to slap Luo Ximing's face so hard that even her own mother would not recognize her. Bang! The Luo family iron guards rushed into the Luo manor like wolves and tigers. The servants and guards in the Luo manor were all temporarily recruited. Even if some of them had betrayed the Luo family before, how could they compare to the Luo family iron guards who were well-trained and powerful? Apart from the fact that the Luo family iron guards were slightly weaker than the powerful battle slaves that Luo Qingtong had subdued, the other soldiers were not weak at all. Rumble. The group of people rushed into the Luo manor. The second madam of the Luo family could not stop them no matter how hard she screamed. She wanted to use force, but with her strength, she could not stop the Luo family iron guards. She was knocked to the ground in a few moves. She rolled on the ground and cried loudly. Luo Xinning stood at the gate of the Luo manor, trembling. The Luo family iron guards did not touch her at all, but she looked as if she had been ravaged. Her eyes were red. She looked up at Luo Qingtong, who was sitting on the horse. She dug her nails into her palms until they were covered in blood. Luo Qingtong. Luo Qingtong. She roared in her heart, I will not let you go. I will not let you go. Today's humiliation will be repaid with blood. Don't be smug. Don't be so smug. Luo Xinning was so angry that she almost fainted. Luo Qingtong's move was too ruthless. To Luo Xinning, Luo Qingtong's actions were like grabbing her hair, slamming her onto the ground and stomping on her face. Trampling her to death. This was the ultimate humiliation. Compared to this, the previous actions of smashing the signboard and sending the signboard with the word "Go" were nothing. What Luo Qingtong was doing now was hundreds of times more ruthless than before. Luo Xinning had always been proud and arrogant. She was never willing to admit that Luo Qingtong was stronger than her. In her opinion, Luo Qingtong was just lucky to be the first daughter of the Luo family and to have a good mother. Otherwise, how could she be so glorious? If she were in Luo Qingtong's position, she would definitely do better than her. Hence, she betrayed Luo Qingtong and betrayed her cultivation place in the Nine Magi Mountain. She destroyed her dantian and destroyed her eyes. She thought that Luo Qingtong would never be able to compare to her. However, at this moment, Luo Qingtong, who she had always looked down on and thought that she was inferior to her, was trampling on her face. She opened her residence and was in high spirits. She was even the disciple of a Soul King from the Tianyu Branch Academy. She thought that she was better than Luo Qingtong. But now, she was going to bully him and wantonly humiliate him. Luo Qingtong. Luo Qingtong. Luo Xinning clenched her teeth so hard that they were bleeding. At this moment. Chapter 300. A pile of things was found by the guards of the Luo family. They poured everything on Luo Xinning from head to toe. She was in a mess. Miss, these are the personal belongings found in Sun Xinning's room. I wonder if there are any of your treasures. A Luo family iron guard commander walked past Luo Xinning coldly and reported to Luo Qingtong. Of course. Luo Qingtong had burned some of the belongings of the second branch of the Luo family when she returned to the Luo mansion. But at that time, Luo Xinning had not moved to the Luo mansion yet, so she escaped the disaster. This time, Luo Qingtong ordered the guards to search Luo Xinning's room and they found a lot of good stuff. Okay. Put all these things in the box and bring them back. Also, take off all the things she is wearing on her head and hands. Check them bit by bit. Remember, my belongings can't be missing. Make a list of the things that are missing and let her sign it. I will compensate her in the future. Hearing this, Luo Xinning raised her head and stared at Luo Qingtong with her bloodshot eyes. Luo Qingtong. You did it on purpose. She shouted in a hoarse voice. Part of the things that the second branch of the Luo family took from Luo Qingtong were burned when she came back. How could they still gather them? Judging from Luo Qingtong's words, she was going to take responsibility for the things that were burned. Luo Qingtong. Just you wait. When I enter the Tianyu Branch School and the Saint Academy of the Empire of Qin, I will not let you go. The talented students of the Tianyu Branch School had special privileges, especially those who were good enough to enter the Saint Academy of the Empire of Qin. They could even look down on the royal family of Tianyu. Luo Qingtong, just you wait. When the day comes that Luo Qingtong soars, Luo Qingtong will definitely not let her off. Haha. Didn't you come here to make a scene for the family heirloom armor and the recommendation letter? Luo Qingtong, let me tell you, you will not get them. I would rather destroy them than give them to you. Luo Xinning said to Luo Qingtong through telepathy with a twisted face. Her words were full of twisted pleasure. You are thinking too much. Looking at Luo Xinning's twisted face, Luo Qingtong smiled faintly. Don't think that everyone is like you. treating the recommendation letter as a treasure. To be honest, I don't care about the recommendation letter. Luo Xinning, you treat it as a treasure. Also, let me tell you something. You won't be able to enter the Tianyu branch. Because she would not let Luo Xinning. At the entrance exam, she would show Luo Xinning what real strength was. Just how big was the gap between them. Tianyu branch school? Luo Xinning could go in her dreams. As Luo Qingtong spoke, she straightened her body and made a gesture to the Luo family guards. Leave a group of people here to check the items. The rest of you, follow me back. Also, Luo Qingtong looked at Master Chu, who was standing outside the gate of the Luo family. She swung the horsewhip in her hand and wrapped it around his thumb. You! Master Chu thought that Luo Qingtong was going to fight with him. He did not expect the horsewhip to wrap around the jade ring on his thumb and leave. It was a gift from Luo Xinning. Master Chu, this belongs to the Luo family too. If you really like it, ask Luo Xinning to find another one for you. I can't give it to you. Luo Qingtong's words were like a slap on Master Chu's face. Slap. After Luo Qingtong left, Master Chu was so angry that he was trembling. When Luo Xinning came forward, he slapped her hard on the face. You are a disgrace to me. As he spoke, he left in a rage. Chapter 301. Teacher. Teacher. Luo Xinning covered her face, ignoring the gazes of the people around her as she hurriedly followed after old Chu. She could not lose old Chu's support, especially now that she had lost all faith in Wingay's city. Luo Qingtong came knocking on her door. First, she smashed the Luo residence's signboard. Then, she used the account book to make a clean copy of the Luo residence. Luo Xinning had no face left to speak of. Under such circumstances, if she lost old Chu's support, she would become the biggest joke in Wingay's city. At that time, everyone could use today's incident to make fun of her. Everyone could use Luo Qingtong's words to despise her. Luo Xinning could not let herself fall into such a situation. No matter what, she had to keep old Chu's support. She wanted to enter Tianyu branch school and soar into the sky. She wanted to make Luo Qingtong regret humiliating her today. Fortunately, Luo Qingtong was too arrogant. When she humiliated her, she also offended old Chu. Luo Xinning was certain that she could push the blame to Luo Qingtong and divert old Chu's hatred away. She was not weak and was old Chu's last disciple. He would not give up on her so quickly. Therefore, Luo Xinning chased after old Chu. With Luo Xinning's departure, the drama between the Luo residents and the Luo family finally came to an end. The surrounding onlookers watched with relish. They did not expect Luo Xinning to be such a person. Many of them were deceived by her gentle and weak appearance. They did not expect the second branch of the Luo family to be so black-hearted. However, the eldest daughter of the Luo family was also fierce. She was so arrogant that she didn't even give face to the tutor of Tianyu branch school. She humiliated Luo Xinning right in front of the tutor and made her wish she was dead. However, she must have been forced into a corner by the second branch of the Luo family and could not tolerate it anymore. Legend had it that the eldest daughter of the Luo family was like a fairy. Not only was she like a fairy, but she was also very gentle and kind. Now, it seemed that all of them had been forced by the second branch of the Luo family to become unruly and willful. However, such a young miss of the Luo family, her charm was truly incomparable. She was dressed in a bright red robe and sat upright on a red horse. Her face was beautiful and delicate like a flower. However, she was arrogant and evil, and her style was magnificent. Compared to Luo Xinning, he was many times more majestic. She was indeed the most beautiful woman in Eastern Fence. This charm, this aura. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that she was the #1 beauty in the world. At this moment, Luo Qingtong, who was regarded as the most beautiful woman in the world by everyone, was looking at the 9 phoenixes flying ring on her left ring finger with a headache. Just a moment ago, she suddenly felt a ripple similar to a pulling force coming from the 9 Netherworld Phoenix ring. Otherwise, how could she have left so quickly? At the very least, he had to stay and admire Luo Xian Ning's face full of hatred and her embarrassing appearance. However, it was this fluctuation that caused her heart to palpitate. She quickly urged her horse to return. Ever since she put the ring on her finger, there had been no movement from the ring. Luo Qingtong had almost forgotten that the man had put a tracking device on her. Chapter 302. Thinking of this, Luo Qingtong's heart skipped a beat. There were so many people in this world. Didn't she just threaten and force that man? She even repaid him by saving his life later on. Why did that man keep clinging on to her and not letting her go? All right. It was also her fault that he was in danger, but hadn't she been compensating him? She even told him about the 3 most important problems in his body. Her consultation fee was very expensive. In the 24th century, when a country's president asked her to treat his illness, she had to check her mood and see if she had the time to go. How many times had she treated that man for free? Wasn't that enough to offset the previous scam? That man, the dignified Hell Venerable, did he have to be so stingy? Did he? Could it be that his huge black field was saved by being narrow-minded? Just as Luo Qingtong stared at the ring on her left ring finger gloomily, looking like she had nothing left to live for. In the black field, above the floating space city, a peerless spirit boat appeared above the floating space city. Before it got close, countless figures had already appeared above the floating space city. Welcome back, Lord. After receiving the news of Yi Qinxian's return, a group of people in the black field all lined up and came out. The 9 gates of the floating space city were all opened, and the Hell Venerable Palace was wide open to welcome the return of their lord. This brat Yi, he just came back from a trip and made such a big fuss. Looking at the shocking scene in the black field, Elder Yuelao muttered in his heart. Although he knew that this was the spontaneous action of the people in the black field and not Yi Qinxian's own intention, he was still envious and jealous. Humph. Thinking back to those days, he was also sought after wherever he went. The scene was much bigger than Brat Ye's. But now, Elder Yuelao had a headache when he thought of those people chasing after him. With his status, if he were to reveal it to the public, it would scare a group of people. He could guarantee that they would worship him as if he was their ancestor every day. But when he thought of the consequences of his identity being exposed and the news being spread out, Elder Yu shuddered and resolutely abandoned this idea. He had come to Yi Qinxian for 2 reasons. First, he was curious about the condition of his meridians. Second, he wanted to find a place to hide. This is good. He didn't want to expose his identity. Low profile, he had to keep a low profile. Exalt. A group of Black Field members looked excitedly at Yi Qinxian as he descended from the Atlas flying ship. As soon as the latter came back, he directly used thunderous methods to eliminate the Supreme Assassin Pavilion's branches in various countries. His methods were so fierce and domineering that it was truly admirable. More importantly, the Supreme Assassin Pavilion didn't even put up much of a fight. It had to be known that everyone else thought that the Supreme Assassin Pavilion was the alliance of many true Spill Continent Saint Realm powerhouses. But only the higher-ups of the Black Field knew that the background of the Supreme Assassin Pavilion was definitely not that simple. However, such an arrogant assassin organization that had been running amok recently was completely destroyed by a casual action of the Lord. The remaining forces had all gone underground. It was really shocking. The strength and influence of their exalt was really unfathomable. Yi Qinxian faintly responded and waved his hand, dispersing everyone. At this moment, Elder Yuelao happily came over. Chapter 303. You went back? There? He looked at the Shifang dragon ring in Yi Qinxian's hand. You even brought this thing out? Didn't you say that you didn't want it? Elder Yu was surprised. TSK, looks like some people are going to cry themselves to death. Why did you suddenly change your mind? He had a gossipy look on his face. He hadn't seen Yi Qianxian set foot in that place for so many years. He didn't expect him to go back and bring the Shifang dragon ring with him. Elder, you could already imagine some people crying themselves unconscious in the toilet. It was simply too funny. But why did Yi Qianxian suddenly change his mind? The man glanced at him indifferently and didn't say anything. On the other hand, Bei Qing, who had been in high spirits ever since he came back, immediately replied happily, "This is all thanks to the evil doctor. It's all thanks to her. Master was willing to go back to that place. When he went back this time, he would feel so good about venting his anger. He fought a few fights and beat those bastards until they cried for their parents. It felt so good to relax his muscles and bones." As Bei Qing spoke happily, Feng Yu had already raised his hand to cover his eyes. Bei Qing, this silly husky. Didn't he see that Master was looking at him? Master was already very conflicted about the fact that he liked the evil doctor, but this idiot still said in front of Master that he went back to deal with those people because of the evil doctor. Even if this was the truth, a pig like you shouldn't say it in front of Master. You're so stupid. Feng Yu didn't want to look at him anymore. Who told you that I went back because of her? Yi Qianxian looked coldly at Bei Qing, who was unable to contain his joy, and inexplicably felt that the expression on his face was very annoying. How could he go back because of that woman? It was clearly those people who chased after him and angered him. Besides, even if he went back because of that woman, why was Bei Qing so happy? Did he have any thoughts about that woman? Thinking of this, Yi Qianxian's face turned cold. What does it have to do with that woman if I want to take back what belongs to me? Although he did go back because he wanted to find that woman as soon as possible. However, he would never admit to that. Am I wrong? Bei Qing's eyes widened. Did he misunderstand? But Master, when you came back. He kept rubbing the Shifang dragon ring in his hand. Wasn't it because he wanted to find the evil doctor as soon as possible? Bei Qing had just finished speaking when suddenly, ouch! Feng Yu stepped on his foot, and before he could even glare at her angrily, Feng Yu had already dragged him to Yi Qianxian to apologize. Master, I just remembered that there's something I need Bei Qing to do with me. I'll take my leave first. As he spoke, he pulled Bei Qing, who was still in a daze, and ran away. This idiot. If he stayed here any longer, he would be sent to the brothel to experience life again by Master. Yi Qianxian snorted coldly, but did not stop them. At this moment, Yuelao came up to him with interest and said, "The evil doctor? Could she be the little girl who healed your meridians? Where is she? Bring her here." Elder Yu also wanted to meet such a good seedling who was gifted by the heavens. He also wanted to see if she could really cure Yi Qianxian's injuries, or if it was just a coincidence. No one. Yi Qianxian's voice was cold. Yuelao's words hit the nail on the head. That woman was really good at running away. But this time, where could she run to? Yi Qianxian thought as he looked down at the Shifang dragon ring in his hand. Chapter 304. Why is there something wrong with the aura in your body? Elder Yu suddenly realized that there was something wrong with Yi Qianxian's aura. The last time Yi Qianxian came back, he wasn't there, so he didn't notice the situation in Yi Qianxian's body. Now that they had met face to face, he suddenly realized that Yi Qianren's aura was much stronger than before. Have the injuries in your meridians healed a little? He felt a little incredulous, and raised his hand to take the man's pulse. Yi Qianxian didn't move, and let him check the aura in his body. He came back this time to ask Elder Yu to take a look at the condition of his injuries. Ever since that woman taught him another way to circulate the power in his body, he felt that the interval between the ruptures in his meridians was a little longer. It should be because the load was lighter. Because the way that woman taught him how to circulate the power deliberately avoided the 3 weakest meridians in his body. Elder Yu didn't think of this method. How strange. Your meridians are still the same, but why is your aura so much stronger? Elder Yu looked surprised. Did that little girl do it? Apart from the evil doctor that Bei Qing mentioned, Elder Yu couldn't think of anyone else. Yes. Yi Qianxian nodded. She taught me another way to circulate the power and avoided the 3 weakest meridians in my body. Yi Qianxian told him what Luo Qingtong said, and Elder Yu was shocked. Changing the meridian circulation route? She can actually do this? Even he didn't dare to do this easily. After all, this wasn't simple. You had to be familiar with the other person's cultivation method and know the other person's meridians like the back of your hand. In addition, you had to have enough comprehension and strength to change the other person's cultivation method's circulation route without causing a backlash to the other person. Only a peerless expert who was both a medical and martial arts expert could do these things. Although Elder Yu was a divine alchemist, he didn't have such aptitude in martial arts. Not to mention, Yi Qianxian's cultivation method was not something an ordinary person could cultivate. Luo Qingtong was actually able to change the route of his power circulation. This was even more unbelievable than the Arabian Nights. However, the truth was right in front of him, and he had no choice but to believe it. She is indeed not an ordinary person. Hearing the shock in Elder Yu's words, Yi Qianxian said calmly and proudly. The woman he fancied was naturally extraordinary. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to escape from him again and again. Hey, hey, hey. What was with this inexplicably arrogant tone? Elder Yu rolled his eyes at him in annoyance. You're really brave. Aren't you afraid that she'll casually say that she's fooling you? You'll take the opportunity to escape and get rid of all future troubles. Changing the route of power circulation. If it was light, he would go berserk and lose all his skills. If it was serious, he would be seriously injured and die. This kid really didn't put up any defenses at all. Did he forget that he was there to capture someone? He was actually so obedient to the other party. She won't. Yi Qianxian narrowed his eyes as he listened. If that woman really wanted to hurt him, she had several chances before. Thinking of this, Yi Qianxian's mood suddenly improved. That woman really did like him, but she didn't want to admit it. Cunning. The coldness in the man's eyes lessened slightly, and the corners of his lips curled up slightly. Woman, you can't escape. Chapter 305. Windgaze City. Luo Qingtong had been on tenterhooks ever since she discovered the fluctuations on the 9 Phoenix ring. She had a feeling that the man had done something and would soon come looking for her. Luo Qingtong was really worried to death. The Luo family's current situation was inseparable. She couldn't leave the Luo family at this time. So the problem was, what should she do if the man came looking for her? Sigh, so annoying. Do you have any ideas? You're the one who caused most of this trouble. You have to take care of it. Luo Qingtong looked at Little Pig threateningly. Little Pig felt that he was wrongly accused of being the scapegoat. Although it was indeed his fault in the beginning, it was clearly this woman who kept provoking that man. That's why they got into this big trouble, okay? Why was it his fault again? He had already turned over a new leaf. If he comes looking for you, then go and seduce him. I guarantee it'll work, he suggested with a serious face. Scram. Before he could finish his words, he was hit on the head by a fried dumpling. I'm serious with you. Don't try to fool me with these words. Luo Qingtong was furious. If it weren't for this pig, how could she not get rid of that man after provoking him? I'm also serious. Little Pig said with an aggrieved face. Why was it that people didn't believe him when he spoke the truth? With that man's feelings for this woman, she didn't need to hide at all. She could have just used a honey trap. Luo Qingtong ignored him and looked at the 9 Phoenix ring in her hand with furrowed brows. The fluctuations on the ring were very obvious. Even with those fake 9 Phoenix rings as a cover, that man should be able to find her soon. She hoped that her arrangements could buy her some time and at least solve the Luo family's problem here. Sigh, this broken thing can't be blocked or taken off. Does that man really want to catch me and teach me a lesson? Luo Qingtong's face was gloomy, and her brows were tightly knitted together. Little Pig, who was listening from the side, flipped over and thought to himself, it's true that I want to catch you, and it's also true that I want to teach you a lesson. I just don't know what kind of lesson it is. Speaking of which, that man's intentions were so obvious that even he could tell. Why was this woman so slow? Have you ever thought that maybe he wants to catch you because he likes you? Little Pig tried to enlighten her. Think about it, this ring is obviously very expensive. It must be something very important. How can a normal tracker be so luxurious? It guided him patiently. You don't have to comfort me. Luo Qingtong rolled her eyes at it. With his status, what's wrong with taking out a good ring as a tracker? Is Blackfield short of money? Also, do you like people to be caught? Was he bullying her because she had never liked anyone before? This reason was not reliable at all. Little Pig looked up at the sky. If it liked people, of course, it wouldn't use its claws. But this woman didn't know how good she was at running. That man was also forced to do it, okay? While Little Pig was speechless, Luo Qingtong seemed to have thought of something, and the smile on her face widened. You've reminded me that this isn't an ordinary ring. That man hurriedly decided to put this ring on her, so this ring must be something precious that he always carried with him. If that's the case. While Luo Qingtong was thinking, she suddenly heard a series of bangs outside. Chapter 306. What's going on? She asked in a low voice. Her eyes were fixed on the wall in front of her. There was a pile of corpses lying in a mess. Master, someone is trespassing. The warrior who was in charge of guarding in the dark said. Those people were discovered as soon as they broke into the Luo family. Before they could do anything, these intruders, who had murderous intentions, were killed by the array that Luo Qingtong had set up in the Luo family. Okay. Luo Qingtong replied in a low voice. She glanced at the corpses and said, throw them out and hang them outside. Let people know the consequences of trespassing in the Luo family. These intruders were all covered in black cloth, making it impossible to tell where they came from. However, Luo Qingtong did not need to know where they came from. Today, Luo Xining exposed the fact that old Master Luo had lost his cultivation. She knew that something like this would happen sooner or later. However, she did not expect those people with ulterior motives to be so impatient. They immediately sent people to test the waters. Bang, bang, bang. When Luo Qingtong's voice was heard, the sound of fighting came from the direction of old Master Luo's courtyard. Then, a shrill cry mixed with shock rang out. After that, there was no more sound. Luo Qingtong narrowed her eyes and rushed into old Master Luo's courtyard. Master. There were several corpses lying in the courtyard. Each of them was strong. They were all in the great martial general realm. In Dongli country, they were considered strong. Among them, there was even an expert who had just entered the martial marquis realm. However, they were killed by the group of martial marquis realm warriors arranged by Luo Qingtong in the Luo family. They could not resist at all. Master, they are from the Dongli royal family. Someone from the Luo family came forward to check. Soon, he got the result. There were only so many experts in Dongli country. There were even fewer people who could be ranked. Moreover, there was an expert who had just entered the martial marquis realm. Compared to the group of people who died outside, there were more identifiers. The Luo clan's iron guards casually sifted through the crowd and learned of the other party's background. It was also because these people were too careless. They thought that this operation was foolproof and did not cover it up carefully. Eastern Fence royal family, Luo Qingtong narrowed her eyes. She didn't forget that when she came back, she heard the clamoring servants say that the royal family of Dongli had removed her grandfather's duty as the commander-in-chief of the army. Along the way, she heard that the Dongli royal family reprimanded old Master Luo. Clearly, Dongli's imperial family was on Tianyu's side in this battle against House Luo. Moreover, he couldn't wait any longer. Why did she think that the Luo clan was about to lose its power, and that she, the future wife of the fifth prince, was no longer favored, so she couldn't wait to make a move on the Luo clan? Now that they knew that his grandfather's cultivation had dissipated, they wanted to arrange for people to kidnap him. First, it would be easier for them to gather military power. Second, it would be easier for them to threaten him and curry favor with Tianyu's royal family. Luo Qingtong's lips curled into a blood-red smile. Luo Xinning, you put on a good show this time. You have lured all kinds of monsters out. You have saved me a lot of trouble. Hang them outside the Luo clan's gate with the previous group of people. If there are any trespassers in the future, punish them all. She didn't mind turning the square outside the Luo clan's gate into a cave of bones. Chapter 307. Early the next morning, many people were shocked by the scene outside the Luo family's gate. Looking at the corpses that were hung up, the blood that dripped down almost dyed the square in front of the Luo family's gate red. The crowd of onlookers was frightened. What's going on? The Luo clan was attacked last night? I didn't hear anything. But these corpses were hung up early in the morning. Someone whispered. The group of people looked at the skewered corpses in horror. The Luo family was really amazing when they didn't make a move. He had just destroyed the Luo manor, and now he had killed so many people. However, didn't they say that the old man of the Luo family had already lost his cultivation? Why was the Luo clan still so arrogant? Sigh. The Luo family's toughness was easily broken. Since grandfather Luo's cultivation had dissipated, they should be keeping a low profile. These people were most likely there to investigate the situation. If Grandpa Luo was fine, he would have shown himself long ago. The current situation. Sigh. Yeah. Someone chimed in. Looks like something really happened to Elder Luo. However, the Luo clan was really stubborn. They were not willing to suffer any grievances. Although they have achieved the purpose of intimidating those people by killing them, the forces behind those people will definitely not be willing to let this matter rest. Before this person could finish speaking, in an instant, the sound of hurried horse hooves suddenly came from afar. Following this, a cold yell could be heard. Get out of the way, everyone get out of the way. A group of fully armored soldiers galloped over from the front. The two people at the very front caused the crowd to exclaim in surprise. It's the Imperial Guards. The one at the front is Old Master Chu. Everyone watched as the large group of people galloped and stopped at the entrance of the Luo clan. Looking at the bloody scene in the square, Old Master Chu, who came with the Imperial Guards, revealed a thought-provoking expression. Old Man Luo finally had a successor. Although the rest of his sons were useless, at least he had a granddaughter who could stand up to him. This method was ruthless enough. In contrast to Old Master Chu's calmness, the attendant who came with him was quite frightened by the scene before him. The people of the Luo clan were too cruel. Looking at the bloody corpses hanging all over the square, then looking at the few familiar faces, the personal attendant swallowed a mouthful of saliva. But soon, when he thought of the purpose of his visit and the current situation of the Luo clan, he straightened his chest and regained his composure. Men! Knock on the door. Tell the Luo clan that the king has an order. Let them open the door and receive the decree. Upon hearing the eunuch's words, Old Master Chu revealed a look of mockery. In the past, when the Luo clan was in its glory days, when did these attendants not speak softly and flatteringly when they came to deliver the decree? Now that the Luo clan had been defeated, they had become arrogant. Although this was human nature, Old Master Chu had always been upright. For the sake of his political views, he was able to become enemies with the powerful Old Master Luo. Naturally, he couldn't stand the way these people trampled on the weak. Even if this attitude was tacitly approved by the royal family, it would still be the same. Wait, go invite him in. He motioned to the guard beside him. Although Old Man Luo didn't get along with him, he had never done anything to let down the Eastern Fence Nation. The Luo clan shouldn't be treated this way because of a personal grudge with the royal family of Tianyu. Yes. The guard obeyed the order and went forward. Chapter 308. Please invite Old Master Chu and his entourage in for a chat. Our Luo family welcomes guests, but we don't welcome troublemakers. Luo Qingtong's clear voice sounded from within. As she spoke, a group of Luo family guards filed out and lined up in front of the Luo family's gates. His iron-blooded and majestic aura immediately suppressed the group of imperial guards opposite him. Old Master Chu, please come in. Our young miss has already prepared good tea and wine for your arrival. As for the rest. One of the Luo family guards swept his gaze over the imperial guards and the personal attendant beside Old Master Chu. He said flatly, "You're not allowed to enter." "How dare you?" The palace attendant shrieked in a shrill voice. "We're here to deliver the imperial edict. How dare you stop us from entering? Is the Luo family trying to rebel? Defying the imperial edict?" The imperial chamberlain held his head high and puffed out his chest as he looked at the Luo clan's iron guards. The Luo family was now a toothless tiger. Although they were tough now, they were grasshoppers after autumn and wouldn't be able to jump around for long. They were just trying to intimidate others with their ruthless methods so that they wouldn't dare to act rashly. But the more they acted like this, the more it proved that they were only strong on the outside but weak on the inside. Something must have happened to Old Master Luo. Without this golden signboard, it would be more justifiable for the royal family to take back their military power. What was the use of Luo Qingtong's strength? In the end, her status as the future consort of the fifth prince was just a title. She was also the fifth prince's consort who wasn't favored by the royal family of Tianyu. It was already good enough that she could protect herself. Could it be that she wanted to protect the entire Luo family? With that thought in mind, the imperial chamberlain's expression became even more arrogant. "Men! Come in with me." He didn't believe that the Luo family would dare to stop him. However, just as he approached the gates of the Luo family, Luo Qingtong's cold voice sounded. "Throw them out." As he spoke, the Luo clan's iron guards made their move. Ah! The valet was instantly sent flying. He lay on the ground for a long time, unable to get up. The group of guards who had followed him to the Luo residence were also sent flying. In an instant, chaos broke out outside the gates of the Luo clan. Compared to the well-trained Luo family iron guards, the imperial guards brought by the personal attendant were like a ragtag army, unable to withstand a single blow. Ouch! The attendant howled as he shouted, "We're here to pass on a decree. Young Miss Luo, you actually dared to order them to attack us. Your Luo clan is rebelling. This is treason." "Humph. You were disrespectful to me, so I taught you a lesson. What does that have to do with the royal family?" Luo Qingtong's cold voice came from inside. "My grandfather has received special permission from the royal family and is equal to the king. How can you be so presumptuous in my Luo family? What's more, as the future wife of the fifth prince of the Tianyu Empire, the Luo family is the royal family by marriage. Or was it that the royal family was too ambitious? Did they think they were superior to the royal family of the Tianyu Empire?" Hearing Luo Qingtong's words, the personal attendant trembled and didn't dare to speak anymore. He only considered the fact that Luo Qingtong, the future wife of the fifth prince, was not favored. Old Master Luo had lost his cultivation, and the Luo family was on the decline. However, he forgot that the Luo family had another identity, which was the in-laws of the Tianyu royal family. He could deal with them in secret, but acting presumptuously in public was a slap to the face of the royal family of the Tianyu Empire. Luo Qingtong could deal with them in any way she wanted. Between the Dongli royal family and the Tianyu royal family, who was more important? With that thought in mind, the attendant almost fainted from fainting. Chapter 309. Luo girl, didn't you say you wanted to invite me in for tea? Old Master Chu's voice rang out. He had come with the guard, so he couldn't just stand by and watch a member of the royal family be humiliated. After all, this concerned the dignity of the royal family. It was fine if he wasn't there, but now that he was, if he ignored it, the Dongli royal family might vent their anger on him in the future. He couldn't help but feel sad when he thought of how old Master Luo had served the country all his life, only to end up being targeted by the Dongli royal family. Old Master Luo had done countless things for the country. Although he and Old Master Luo didn't have the same political views, they couldn't deny what the other party had done. The royal family's actions were truly chilling. If they treated the Luo family like this, what would they do to those who were inferior? The royal family was too heartless. Old Master Chu's heart turned cold. At this moment, Luo Qingtong's voice rang out. "Grandpa Chu, come in for a chat. All of these people, throw them out for me. If you want to pass the decree, come in with 3 meals and 9 kowtows. If you continue to be impudent, the blood plaza outside the Luo family's gate will be your final resting place." The guard's face turned pale when he heard this, and he quickly kowtowed outside. He had come with a decree, and this decree was extremely important. If it wasn't passed on because of him, he would be killed when he returned. Around him were a group of imperial guards who were wailing in agony. The group of people came in aggressively. Other than Old Master Chu and a few others, the rest were all lying on the ground, dead or injured. The guard who had been extremely arrogant just a moment ago was kowtowing desperately at the side. The crowd sighed when they saw this. The eldest daughter of the Luo family is really powerful. Oh my God. I thought the Luo family would have no choice but to bow their heads. I didn't expect the eldest daughter of the Luo family to be so domineering. This is the true bearing of an aristocratic family. Regardless of whether it's good or bad, she maintains her arrogance. She won't be humiliated. That's right. Sigh. It's a pity that old Master Luo died too early. Otherwise, the Luo family wouldn't have fallen with the eldest daughter around. Sigh. I'm afraid the royal decree isn't a good thing. The eldest daughter of the Luo family is really too weak. Yeah. The group of people sighed. If Luo Qingtong's strength was a bit more tyrannical, then no one in the Luo clan would be able to shake her. They didn't know Luo Qingtong's true strength, otherwise, they would be extremely shocked. With Luo Qingtong in the Luo family, they would be as stable as Mount Tai. Grandpa Zhu. After welcoming Old Master Chu into the main hall of the Luo family, Luo Qingtong personally brewed tea and served it to him. Please have some tea. At this time, Luo Qingtong respected those who showed goodwill to the Luo family. Old Master Chu and Old Master Luo didn't have a good relationship in the past. But the more he acted like this, the more it showed that he had a noble character. After all, in this world, there would always be icing on the cake, but no timely help. Ah, old Luo has a great-granddaughter. In this aspect, I'm inferior to him. Old Master Chu could not help but sigh when he saw Luo Qingtong's graceful and natural movements. Her every action was neither servile nor overbearing. She was calm and composed. This old man Luo was really lucky. Grandpa Zhu, you're too kind. Luo Qingtong smiled when she heard that. Grandpa Zhu has a unique insight. You're straightforward and upright. The Chu family's foundation will definitely be smooth sailing in the future. These words were Luo Qingtong's reply to Old Master Chu's praise and also her promise to the Chu family in the future. Luo Qingtong remembered Old Master Chu's timely help. In the future, as long as the Luo family was around, the Chu family would not be in trouble. Chapter 310. Sigh, you sure know how to talk. Unfortunately, I know the situation of the Chu clan. I don't know what will happen in the future. However, I'll accept your words. Lass, you're really blessed to be able to support the Luo clan in such a situation. Old man Chu didn't understand the meaning behind Luo Qingtong's words. He sighed. Unfortunately, you can't do it alone. Old man Chu was silent for a while. Then, he asked, did something really happen to your grandfather? This was the first time someone asked about old man Luo in front of Luo Qingtong. Luo Qingtong's expression didn't change. She narrowed her eyes and saw the worry in old man Chu's eyes. Then, she nodded, yes. There was nothing to hide. Luo Xinming had already spread the news. Most of the aristocratic families and the royal family must have received the news. They just needed to confirm it. Old man Luo hadn't shown up for a long time. They must have already confirmed it. However, they didn't know whether old man Luo's cultivation was a blessing or a curse. Once Luo Qingtong successfully nursed him back to health, old man Luo's talent would become so great that they would be jealous of him. His future in martial arts would be different. This was an opportunity that others couldn't get even if they begged for it. Sigh, I've been fighting with that old man for most of my life. I didn't expect him to meet with such a disaster at this time. Old man Chu sighed. Luo clan's girl, I know it's inappropriate for me to say this. I might even be gloating over your misfortune. However, I've been fighting with that old man for most of my life. Even if we don't get along, I don't want to see the Luo clan fall. You should know that the royal family of Tianyu wants to deal with you. They gave the order. All the aristocratic families and the royal family of Dongli nation responded. If you swallow your anger, you might be able to protect the Luo clan. If you insist on going against them, the entire Luo clan will be uprooted. They want you to lose your support as revenge for old man Luo's stubborn refusal to accept the marriage. If you're willing to listen to my advice, then bear with it for the time being and let them vent their anger. The Luo clan may suffer humiliation, but it's better than nothing, don't you think? He sighed as he looked at Luo Qingtong and said, I know these words must make you feel uncomfortable. But the girl from the Luo clan, let's take a step back. Before old Master Chu could finish his sentence, Luo Qingtong's calm voice interrupted him. If you take a step back, others will press forward step by step and bully you to death. Grandpa Zhu, you don't have to say any more. I know you have good intentions, but my Luo family has never backed down in the face of oppression. Not when my grandfather was around. Now that I'm in charge of the Luo clan, it's even more impossible. She didn't know how to write the words forbearance in her entire life. Luo Qingtong had been arrogant all her life. No matter when she was in her prime or when she was weak, whoever wanted to deal with her had to be prepared to be ruthlessly torn off by her. Bowing to the royal family of Tianyu? So what if old man Luo risked his pride and stubbornness to go to Tianyu Empire to break off the marriage? If she bowed her head, what would happen to old man Luo's love and protection? Old man Luo went to Tianyu Empire to break off the marriage and was suppressed. Who was it for? It was all for her. If she bowed her head, she would tear old man Luo's face off and throw it on the ground. Luo Qingtong would never do such a thing. Not only would she not do it, but she would also tell the world that old man Luo's actions were not wrong. The Luo clan would never be defeated. Whoever dared to touch the Luo clan, she would make them suffer the consequences. Chapter 311. Miss Luo, please accept the edict. The eunuch trembled with fear. At this time, he didn't dare to show off in front of Luo Qingtong. Now, he finally understood that no matter how weak the Luo family was, and no matter how unfavored Luo Qingtong, the future wife of the fifth prince, was, as long as she had this title, everyone had to bow down respectfully in front of her. So what if the royal family of Tianyu didn't like her? Could they slap themselves in the face and tell the world that anyone could bully Luo Qingtong? That's absolutely impossible. Therefore, no matter how uncomfortable the royal family of Tianyu was, outsiders knew that they wanted to deal with Luo Qingtong, so they couldn't disrespect her in public. Luo Qingtong liked the feeling of disgust. The golden name of the royal family of Tianyu was so useful, of course she would use it more. As for the dirty tricks in private, if they weren't afraid of death, they could come at her. The eunuch respectfully handed over the edict. Luo Qingtong glanced at him indifferently and raised her hand to take it. You want the tiger tally? Luo Qingtong looked at the edict in her hand and laughed. The royal family of Dongli really dared to ask for it. First, they took away grandfather Luo's responsibility as the commander of the three armies, and now they wanted the tiger tally so that they could take over the military power of the three armies. They knew that it was impossible to kidnap grandfather Luo, so they wanted to use the royal family's name to pressure and take it by force. Old Master Luo's dispersal of his cultivation gave them an excuse to take full control of the military. However, the left, middle, and right armies of Dongli were famous for being the sharp sword of the country. They were built by grandfather Luo alone. He spent a lot of time and effort to build the army of Dongli into a strong army. Among the many small countries around, Dongli's national power might not be outstanding, but its military power was first class. Grandfather Luo's prestige alone was enough to make the surrounding countries not dare to invade them. Back then, the king of Dongli held grandfather Luo's hand and cried with gratitude. Now that old Master Luo was in trouble, the royal family jumped out to take advantage of the situation. Those words from back then had probably been eaten by dogs. Luo Qingtong's voice was cold. When the eunuch heard this, he didn't even dare to raise his head. He could only shrink his neck and brace himself to say, the right to command the three armies should belong to the royal family. In the past, the king loved Marquis Zhen, so he naturally entrusted him with the country's weapons, but now that my grandfather's cultivation has dissipated, he can no longer be entrusted with important tasks. The royal family has no choice but to take back their military power. Is that what you mean? Luo Qingtong's voice was faint, but it inexplicably sent chills down people's spines. All in all this is not because the royal family covets the commander-in-chief of the three armies and can't wait to reap the benefits. Blinded by greed, they are forced to do so. Is that what you mean? Eldest miss, the attendant lowered his head deeply. Luo Qingtong's words were too blunt. She was so straightforward that she almost pointed at the royal family's nose and scolded them for being shameless. How could he dare to answer? Even if this was the truth, he wouldn't dare to say it out loud like the eldest miss of the Luo family. The royal family still cared about their reputation. Otherwise, why would they find a bunch of reasons to openly ask old Master Luo to hand over the commander-in-chief of the three armies? The continuous reprimanding from before was because of this matter. But before the royal family could find an excuse, something happened to old Master Luo. This saved them the trouble of finding other excuses. But these words couldn't be said out loud. Not only could they not say it, but they also had to do their best to cover it up and push the blame to old Master Luo and the Luo family. It would prove that old Master Luo was no longer qualified to command the three armies and they had no choice but to take over. Ha! Luo Qingtong chuckled. Grandpa Zhu, look, this is the result of my grandfather's loyalty to the country. As she spoke, she threw the decree in front of the attendant. Let's go. Take me to the three armies' martial arts arena, I will give you the tiger tally. Luo Qingtong's smile was evil. You want the tiger tally? She will give it to you. Chapter 312. Ugh. Old Master Chu and the palace servant both thought that Luo Qingtong wouldn't accept the edict. After all, her attitude was so obvious and she despised the royal family of Dongli. He was even prepared to be kicked out of the room. However, after Luo Qingtong threw the edict at him, she suddenly said such words. The palace servant looked at Luo Qingtong dumbfoundedly and couldn't react for a long time. Even when Luo Qingtong stood up and walked in front of him, he still knelt there stupidly and maintained his posture of kowtowing in fear. Obviously, he was ready to kowtow and beg for mercy. Go. Luo Qingtong's voice was indifferent. Her lotus-like skirt fluttered in the air as she took a step forward, sweeping past the imperial chamberlain. Yes. That palace attendant's face was filled with trepidation. He didn't know what Luo Qingtong meant. After the previous lesson, he didn't think that Luo Qingtong was going to compromise. He felt that Luo Qingtong's words had a deeper meaning. However, the Luo clan was declining and Old Master Luo had lost his cultivation. Luo Qingtong only had the title of the future wife of Tianyu's fifth prince, but she didn't have enough cultivation to support the Luo clan. No matter how he looked at it, she couldn't stop the royal family from taking back the tiger tally. After all, the royal family had a righteous reason. Old Master Luo's accident gave them a justifiable reason to take back the tiger tally. If Luo Qingtong didn't agree, it was fine. However, the royal family of Dongli could use the name of selfishness to accuse the Luo clan of not thinking about the country. At that time, Old Master Luo, who had lost his cultivation, would be forced to hand over the tiger tally. Otherwise, the royal family of Dongli would use force to take the tiger tally after a round of reprimanding. Either way, the Luo clan's reputation as a century-old family would be ruined. Thinking of this, that palace attendant felt that Luo Qingtong had probably seen through this and had no choice but to compromise. Yes. It must be like this. As the attendant thought about it, he subconsciously puffed out his chest. But at this moment, Luo Qingtong glanced at him. Although he knew that she couldn't see, he still felt an inexplicable chill in his heart. The arrogance that just rose up suddenly withered. No matter how Luo Qingtong compromised, with her identity as the future wife of the fifth prince, she could still beat him. With that thought in mind, the palace attendant instantly quieted down. When Luo Qingtong left, he trotted and followed behind her with a flattering expression. He was afraid that Luo Qingtong would kill him out of annoyance. After all, Luo Qingtong was unscrupulous. Now that the decree had been passed down, if he was really killed, then his death would have been in vain. Could they really expect the royal family of Dongli to find trouble with Luo Qingtong because of this? Thinking of this, the personal attendant instantly became well-behaved, not daring to cause any trouble, nor did he dare to show off in the slightest. Therefore, when Luo Qingtong went out, everyone saw a strange scene. The eunuch, who had been arrogant when he came to pass the edict, now followed Luo Qingtong like a pug. His careful attitude stunned many people. Didn't they say that the Luo clan was declining? The eldest daughter of the Luo clan wasn't liked by the royal family of Tianyu. Why was this palace servant so respectful to her? Could it be that the rumors were wrong? Or was the eldest daughter of the Luo clan really good at tricks? After all, they had seen the chamberlain kowtowing outside, but his expression was one of unwillingness. The group of people watched Luo Qingtong and the others leave. You're tuning in to the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.